A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
From Hollywood, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show for Hormel and Spam. George and Gracie. Spam, oh boy. Spam, what joy. George Burns and Gracie Allen on the show where the orchestra for singing glee with a smooth history. Last but not least, who is Bud Easton? Time for Burns and Allen at your house. And say, have last-minute Christmas chores got you in a whirl? Now look, Mother, even though you don't get home until just before supper time, here's the quick, easy way to give your family swell food that satisfies husky appetites. Serve baked Spam, S-P-A-M. And baking is easy when you serve Spam. All you do is open a can of Spam, stud it with cloves, and slip it into the oven. The easy recipe is right on the label. In just a few minutes, you'll have a delicious main course. Spam is tender, juicy meat with extra goodness and flavor because Spam is a perfect combination of pork shoulder meat and ham meat. Tired appetites perk up with Spam on the table, and tired mothers like it because Spam is so easy to serve. Tomorrow, be sure your shopping list includes S-P-A-M Spam. Here they are, your two favorite Spam stars, George and Gracie.
Thank you very much.
Say, George, I saw Artie Shaw's picture second chorus at the Paramount last night. He was great.
Really?
Fred Astaire was swell. And Paulette Goddard was grand. And can I Bud Easton make love?
Wait a minute. Bud Easton wasn't in the picture.
Well, he was sitting next to me, if you know what I mean.
So you were at the Paramount last night, too, huh, Bud?
Yes.
How did you like it?
Oh, swell. Next week I'm going back to see the picture.
Gracie, how was Artie Shaw as an actor?
Well, he had plenty of trouble with his lines. Every time he opened his mouth, he stuck his clarinet in it.
Some love of that Shaw. I'll bet every time he threw a kiss, Paulette got it.
Oh, well, no.
Got it?
Well,
Good stuff.
Judge, I was only fooling. Artie was
got
great.
it. That was a beauty.
Yeah. Oh, dear. There was Artie with his arms around Paulette Goddard, and Paulette was looking into his eyes, and Artie looked into Paulette's eyes, and then Fred Astaire kissed her, and
Gracie, how did Fred Astaire get into this?
Well, he's very fast on his feet, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm not bad either.
No?
You know, in vaudeville, I used to be Goldie of Goldie Fields and Glide.
No.
So what?
Really?
And you could tell by that Goddard line that I did the comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you something right now. You know how Fred Astaire jumps up in the air and clicks his heels 3 times?
How many times?
3 times.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I can jump up in the air and click my heels 4 times. Okay. What? Well, how do you like it, Gracie?
Swell. You can come down now.
Well, anyway, Artie, we've done a lot of kidding, but I hear that you're really great in the picture.
Well, thanks a lot, George.
I understand you play a romantic kid.
Nah, George, those love scenes aren't all that cracked up to be. For example, that scene at the breakfast table where I'm reading a newspaper and Paulette Goddard comes in and kisses me. Every time we did the scene, something went wrong. You know, she kissed me 52 times. Boy, that was awful.
Awful? What was awful about that?
I never got a chance to read Little Abner.
Kissed him 52 times. Should happen to me.
You know, Artie, George, and I danced in a picture with Fred Astaire. That's what gave Fred Astaire a start.
It's kind of a hard line to get out.
Start. Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
really kidding.
That's your line, Artie.
No, really. When he saw George dance again, an awful start.
Well, we got 2 laughs before that.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue from there. Where are we?
Yo también vi esa película, esa señorita Pauleta Godard.
Well, there goes Senor Lee. You said something funny, huh? Well, there goes the guitar player interrupting again.
Hey, Senor Shaw. Hey, Artie. Hey, boss. Hey, lover.
What is it, Senor Lee?
You in the picture with Fred Astaire? That's a strange coincidence.
Senor Lee, you said that wrong.
Perdóname. Senor Shaw, you being in the same picture with Fred Astaire is a strange coincidence.
Well, that sort of finishes up Artie Shaw's new picture, second chorus. And Artie, you noticed I mentioned it 3 times. Is that enough?
Yeah, and someday I'll write a little song about Spam.
Well, thanks, kid.
Gee, that'll be swell, Artie. Spam's bound to become number 1 on the Eat Parade.
On the Eat Parade. Well, now, let's start our play. Gracie, give out the scripts. Okay, Bud, take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you remember, last week we did a play, and we left off with George, Artie, and myself in jail about to be hanged, and Gracie on the way to the governor to try and save our lives. Lights, curtain, music.
Gracie, where are the scripts?
The scripts?
Yeah, the scripts for the play.
Oh, the radio script.
Yeah, the radio scripts. I gave them to you this morning. Where are they?
You want to talk about my brother?
Who's interested in your brother?
The woman across the street.
Well, who cares?
Her husband.
Gracie, we were having lunch at the Brown Derby, and I gave you a package. Where are the scripts?
Oh, scripts. Oh, let me see now. No, don't tell me. I left the Brown Derby, and I went into that drugstore, and I put a nickel in the phonograph and played Beat Me Daddy 6 to the bar.
6 to the bar?
Yeah, it was a cut-rate drugstore. And then I changed a dime and weighed myself, and I had 9 pennies left, so I weighed myself 9 more times.
Gracie, the audience is waiting.
Yeah,
Where are the scripts?
Please. Then I left for the May department store, and I crossed the park, and there was a man surrounded by a lot of pigeons feeding them peanuts. And he said, Miss, how would you like to try this? And I did. I ate about 2 bags of peanuts. And
Artie, will you play a number while Gracie tries to figure out where she left the scripts?
And then the pigeons flew away, and I said goodbye to Mr. Reuter.
To Mr. Reuter.
me see. Where did I leave the script?
Yeah, the scripts.
Oh, I was on my way to the May Company, and I stopped to buy a ticket for the Rose Bowl game. The man said, would you like to sit on the 50-yard line? And I said, no, the chalk would ruin my dress. And then...
Gracie, we've got to do a show.
Please. And then the man said the tickets for the Rose Bowl were $1 apiece. And
$1 apiece?
Oh, of course, it was a very small piece. Now, if I can get $200 more, I can buy the rest of the tickets. And then...
Gracie, try to remember what you did with the package. The scripts are in it. We're supposed to do a play.
Señor Shaw, ¿por qué todas las noches tenemos que tocar Ferenci? Ya estoy cansado de tocar
yeah?
la misma
Tú
cosa.
vas a hacer lo que yo digo. Yo soy el jeep aquí.
What's going on here? Artie, what's your guitar player saying?
What's he saying? I'm having enough trouble trying to figure out what I'm saying.
What's the argument about, Senor Lee?
I do not like the number Ferenci we just played. Every night we play it at the Pandemonium Ballroom.
Pandemonium?
See.
It's Palladium.
Oh.
Pandemonium is a lot of noise and confusion.
East Swing and Sway with Sammy Kaye?
Artie, why do you take it from that musician?
He's got a diploma from Casaloma.
Say, that's cute.
Hey, George.
Hi.
Try Spam and Chili with Rudy Villi.
You guys keep it up. Just keep it up and you'll be hitting the road with Papa Jode.
See now. So I finally got to the May Company.
Oh, you finally got to the May Company.
Yeah, and I went to the men's department, and I said, I'd like to get a shirt for George. And the man said, 34 sleeves, and I said, no, 2 will be enough.
Gracie, when you got through shopping all day, what did you do with the packages?
The packages. Oh, those were all Christmas presents. I took them all down to the post office and mailed them.
To the post office?
Yes.
Well, you must have mailed the scripts with the rest of the packages.
Oh, well, let's go down and look for them.
Well, certainly.
Well, they'll be easy to find on account of all my packages are addressed direct to the exchange department of the May Company.
You addressed you addressed all your gifts to the exchange department?
Well, yeah, that'll save my friends a lot of trouble after Christmas.
Well, come on, everybody. You better come with me to the post office and help me find the scripts.
I'll help.
I'll help.
Mr. Burns, I refuse to help.
Who are you? Just a rugged individualist.
Everything happens to me. Well, come on, everybody. Let's go.
Oh, well, George, I got it.
The scripts.
No. Let's tear a herring with old Fred Waring.
Oh, come on. Hey, 4 years in Harvard. Open the door. Hey, soundman. I'm talking to you. Why don't you pay attention to your work?
Mr. Burns, that is what I've been doing all my life. 4 years I went to Harvard, studied diligently and never missed a lecture. The notes I made are used today as a model by the students at Harvard. Alongside me sat a student who never paid attention to anything. Instead of taking down notes, he wrote childish jingles on the margin of his notebook. Today, that man gets $50,000 a year writing those Burma shave signs, and this is what I do for a living.
Well, this is no time of the year to be sad. Christmas is in the air. Think of Santa Claus.
Poor Santa Claus reminds me of myself. Works hard all year and winds up holding the bag.
Come on, everybody. Let's get to the post office. I've got to find those scripts.
Now, to get this place in about 2 hours.
Oh, well. Here we are at the post office.
Boy, look at this crowd.
Now, Gracie, at what window did you mail the packages?
Oh, let me see now. Look for a handsome clerk with blue eyes, blonde mustache, and striped lipstick. He's got a sort of a
striped lipstick?
Well, yes. It's an account of I kissed him through the bars.
Well, let's stand at the end of this line.
Don't push.
Don't push. Don't push. Don't push. Don't push. Don't push. Who's pushing? Who's pushing? Who's pushing?
Who's pushing? Who's pushing?
Well, we'll never get to that window. I had to give you the scripts.
Hey, George, I know how to get in front of this line.
With all these men?
Well, yes.
Never.
Well, just watch me. Look, here comes Teddy Lamar.
Next. Who's first in line?
I am.
Oh, what a day. Have we been rushed? Do you know, miss, that today I sold 1,000 1-cent stamps?
Well, if I were you, I'd sell 3-cent stamps.
Why?
Well, you meet a better class of people.
Oh, have I been busy? I've been standing on my feet since 7 o'clock this morning.
Oh, you must be tired. Why don't you let me stand on them for a while?
Gracie, ask her about the package.
What?
Ask her about the package.
Ask her about what?
The package. The package. The package. The package. The package. The package. Thanks for your help.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey, George, when you get down to the window, will you mail this Christmas gift for me?
Sure, if I ever get down there. Well, look, it's for me. Artie, what are you sending me?
It's a lounging robe.
That's funny. Last Christmas I sent you a lounging robe.
Well, it's the same loungy robe.
Well, thanks, kid.
And you know what I want this Christmas?
Now what?
A great big sailboat.
Well, in this weather, you can use it.
Senor Burns, will you please mail this package of dishes for me? But be careful with it. It's high-class crookery.
Crookery? You mean crockery. Crookery means that you stole it.
The man in back of me in the blue uniform is a sailor?
Gracie, find out about the scripts. Gracie, wait a minute. Gracie, what are you doing behind the window?
Well, I'm taking the girl's place. She went out to look for the package. Oh, George, aren't people silly? You ought to read some of the letters they send. Oh, dear. Listen to this one. Dear Santa Claus, please send us a man for Christmas. And if you can't find one, please come yourself. Signed, Brenda and Cubina.
Gracie, you mean you're opening the mail?
Yeah, isn't it fun? I'm so glad I took a place.
You know, you can be held for a thing like that.
Well, who do you think the man with his arms around me is? A sailor? Ooh, by the way, it is.
Gracie, the package. We've got
Oh, look, isn't this a sad letter? Dear Santa Claus, we've been waiting for you for a long, long time, but you never come to visit us. If you don't come this year, what will I tell the children? Signed, Mrs. Santa Claus.
Gracie, you've got to find the script.
When unexpected guests come knocking at your door like this, you get into a twizzy, catch your breath, and say, oh, what shall I feed the bunch? Now, look, if you keep Spam on your pantry shelf, this will happen when folks start knocking. You'll go right to the door, open it up, and say, come on in. You'll never worry about each. You'll have plenty of time to visit because you'll ask to be excused and go out into the kitchen like this. Then you'll open a can of Spam, cut off slices, and place on toast. Then you'll put on a slice of tomato, pickle, or Bermuda onion, and cover with thin slices of cheese. Pop that into the oven until the cheese melts, and there you have a hot Spamwich. A one-plate meal that's sure to make a hit. Bring those hot Spamwiches out of the kitchen like this, and your guests will all say, yum, yum.
Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum.
The meaty flavor, the taste-tempting goodness of Spam is something folks really get hungry for. When friends drop in this holiday season, serve them a hot Spamwich. Or serve Spam cold, or fried, or baked. The easy recipes are right on the label. Fussy appetites like Spam because it's different. A perfect combination of sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat and tender, tasty ham meat. That's why Spam has extra goodness, extra flavor. To be sure of getting the real thing, always look for this sentence on the Spam label, pork shoulder meat with ham meat added. Tomorrow, say to your food dealer, I want Spam. You can serve it dozens of ways. Isn't that right, Smoothies?
Slice it, dice it, fry it, bake it, cold or hot, Spam hits a spot.
Gracie, get away from that window. We've got...
Hey, you stop pushing!
Stop pushing! Stop pushing! Stop pushing! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! We did that.
We did that! We did that!
We did that! We did that! Quiet! Quiet!
Well, who's next?
Gracie, will you come out from behind that stamp window? We've got to find the script.
Say, sourpuss, get back in line. Miss, can I have a 1-cent stamp?
Well, we've got a 1-cent stamp if you really want it. But if I were you, I'd take one of our 6-cent stamps. They're a little more expensive, but they'll last longer. And they're washable. And besides that, they look very pretty on your tongue.
Miss, I'd like a 1-cent stamp. The one that has Lincoln's picture on it.
Oh, well, which Lincoln do you mean? Henry Fonda or Walt Houston?
Never mind. Next time I'll go by train.
Well, isn't that a silly man? Next. And what can I do for you, sir?
Remember me? I'm George Burns.
George Burns? Oh, weren't you in vaudeville?
Yeah, we played together at the DeKalb in Brooklyn.
Well, didn't you work with a very beautiful girl?
Yes, and that happens to be you.
Oh, well, imagine running into me. It certainly is a small world.
Gracie, what about the script?
Hey, miss,
Come out
get back in line.
Oh,
what can I do for you, madam?
I hope I'm not too late, miss. Can I catch the China Clipper?
Well, you might be able to if you put another feather in your hat.
Look, Gracie, what about the script? Will you come
Get back in line.
Listen here.
Get back in line.
Well...
Look, miss, I've been writing with one of your pens, and I've got a handful of ink.
A handful of ink? Well, thanks for telling me. You may keep it for your honesty.
Gracie, what about the script?
Get back in line.
Look, I'm not getting back in line.
Attaboy, George.
You stay out of this.
Anybody that talks that way to George Burns gets a punch in the nose.
You know who I am?
No, who are you?
I'm the vice president of the Hormel Company, makers of Spam.
You know who I am?
No.
Thank goodness.
Say, I better get back in line.
Senor Burns, will you mail this package to my brother? It's a pair of sealskin gloves.
It's not steel skin. It's not steel, it's seal.
Steel.
No, seal. Look, what has a flat head, small eyes, a mustache, and a beautiful fur coat?
My brother's wife.
Look, senor, I've got my own troubles, Gracie. We've got to find our scripts.
Hey, George, I got it.
The scripts?
No. Let's have sandwiches and tea with Fibber McGee.
Oh, go away.
George, how'd you make out?
Well, I certainly got a lot of help out of you, Artie. Where have you been?
What a madhouse this post office is. I sat down at that long table over there, and before I knew it, I was weighed, stamped, and airmailed special to Pomona.
Now, look, I've got to do something.
Well, George, your troubles are over. Here comes the superintendent, and he's got my package under his arm.
No. Before I give it to you, miss, you'll have to answer a few questions. Now, what's your name?
Gracie T. Allen.
What are all those T's for?
Well, when my daddy first saw me, he said...
Look, mister, can we have the package now?
Just a moment now. Miss, can you identify yourself?
Well, certainly. Where's my handbag?
Right here, Gracie.
Oh, wait till I look in the mirror. Yeah, that's me.
I can't stand it. This is awful.
Well, never mind. Here's your package.
Well, thanks. Come on. Great. I've got the script. Come on, everybody. We've got to get out of here. Ouch! Ouch! Well, come on. Let's get back to the studio. Hey, taxi!
And so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the second episode of Gracie Allen's dynamic play. As you remember last week, George, Bud, and Artie were in the jail, sentenced to be hanged. And Gracie was on her way back from the governor's offices, where she'd been making a plea for their lives. The scene opens with the boys anxiously pacing their cell as Gracie arrives.
Well, this is simply awful. Oh, she's been away for hours.
Never get over it.
Oh, boys, I've got some terrible news for you.
You mean we're going to the gas chamber?
Worse than that.
We're going to be hanged?
Worse than that.
Electrocuted?
No, worse than that.
Well, what can be worse than that?
I left the scripts in the taxi.
Oh. And now the Smoothies, Bab shouting a little, will sing. Take it, kids.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing on a sleigh and song the night. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to sing this song tonight. Now's the time to bring the cheer. Jingle bells, jingle,
ya llegó. Oyen las campanas que ya Santa Claus salió. Jingle bells, hay felicidad. Todos les deseamos una merry Navidad.
Now's the time to bring the cheer. Jingle, 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 here comes George. Jingle, 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 sing it, George.
Oh, jingle bell,
Jingling,
jingle bell,
jingling,
jingle all the way.
oh, tell us, Georgie.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in that one-horse open daddy.
You said it.
Jingle bell,
Jingling,
jingle bell,
jingling.
jingle all the way.
We dig you, Georgie.
How I love this time of year when I can always bring a cheer. I know I really love to sing. Some people say I sound like Bing, so now I'm really going to swing. Oh, daddle-a-doodle-a-doodle-a-doodle-a-doodle-a.
Now's the time to bring the cheer. Jingle, 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 now it's fun. Jingle, 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 sing it, bud.
Jingle bells, a happy man I am. Ha, 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 I didn't mention Spam. Yeah.
Now's the time to bring good cheer. Jingle, 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 look who's here. Jingle, 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 Gracie's here.
Here I am, there's nothing more for you. I wish you all good Christmas cheer, a bright and happy coming year. My mother and I, my brother and I, my daddy and sister say, to gather round and sing with us this Merry Christmas Day.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Merry Christmas to you.
Every day, more and more families discover that Spam solves mealtime problems quickly. Originated by Hormel, Spam has become the most popular meat item brought out in a generation. Spam is tender, juicy meat with a taste and a flavor all its own. Fry golden brown slices for breakfast. Serve Spam cold for lunch, just as it comes from the can. To bake Spam for dinner. Look for the easy recipes on the label. If you haven't yet tried Spam, now's the time. You're really missing something extra good. Tomorrow, ask your food dealer for SPAM Spam.
Thanks, Bud. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Well, good night. Say, George, I just thought of a riddle.
Riddle? What is it?
What did the governor of North Carolina say to the governor of South Carolina?
What did he say?
Merry Christmas.
Good night, all.
Have you tried Hormel chili con carne? Even those who think they don't like chili do like chili con carne the way Hormel makes it because it's different and everybody likes it. Double your money back if you don't like it. Try Hormel chili con carne tomorrow. Join us again next week for Burns and Allen with Artie Shaw and his orchestra and the Smoothies. This is Bud Heaston speaking for Hormel and Spam, reminding you that Spam hits the spot. This is the National Broadcasting Company. From Hollywood, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show for Hormel and Spam.
George and Gracie. Spam, whoa boy. Spam, what joy. George Burns, Gracie Allen, on the show and his orchestra, for singing glee, we're the Smoothies three. Last but not least, and with Bud Heaston.
Well, it's Monday night, the 13th. But there's really nothing unlucky about it because Burns and Allen bring you plenty of fun to your house. Say, ladies, if you want to have good luck with tomorrow night's dinner, serve baked Spam. There's a delicious main course, easy to fix. Spam is tender, taste-tempting meat that comes in a can. All you have to do is open the can, take out the Spam, score and stud with cloves, and place in a shallow baking dish. Put it in the oven and baste with a little pineapple juice or a delicious sauce, which is described for you on the Spam can label. In just a few minutes, you'll set before your family a piping hot surprise full of downright goodness and flavor. Extra goodness, ladies, because Spam is a perfect combination of sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat and tender ham. Have a Spam bake tomorrow. Just remember to say to your food dealer, I want Spam. And here they are, like Spam, cold or hot, they hit the spot, George and Gracie.
Thank you. Gracie, say hello.
Oh, hello.
Well, Gracie, if you happen to read my name on the society page one of these days, don't be surprised.
What'd you say, George?
I say, if you happen to read my name on the society page one of these days, don't be surprised.
Oh, no, I won't be. Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't
right
be.
Right there all the time, but
well, I didn't think, George.
You know, it's very hard to see when you're looking up.
Yeah.
You have to look down.
You know, George, only yesterday I was saying to my sister Bessie, what has Cornelius Vanderbilt got that George hasn't got? He's got position, he's got friends, he's got money, he's got culture.
Me?
No, Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Oh.
But my sister Bessie says I still think he's a lowbrow.
Cornelius Vanderbilt?
No, you.
So your sister Bessie doesn't think I can get into society?
Oh, well, don't worry about it, George. Everybody I told this conversation to said she's crazy.
Your sister Bessie?
No, me.
Well, anyway, Gracie, the reason I said that you would see my name on the society page was because last night I went out
you
to the...
did? Well, last night I went to the Palladium Ballroom where Artie Shaw is working.
Yes.
And as I came in, the band was playing Jeannie with the light gray hair. So I checked my
Just
coat.
a minute.
And
Jeannie with the light gray hair?
yes, so I checked my coat.
Gracie,
and then
it's Jeannie with the light brown hair.
Yeah, I know, but she turned gray from overwork. So, let's see, where was I?
Maybe from playing around too much.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So, I checked my coat, and when I got to the dance floor, the head waiter said, follow me, miss, and I did, and he was a beautiful dancer. Anyway, after...
The head waiter?
No, Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Look.
So...
Gracie, I started out to tell you, last night I was with a very famous society girl.
Oh, yeah. And is she mad at Artie Shaw?
The society girl?
No, the bubble dancer who works at the Palladium.
There's a bubble dancer at the Palladium?
Yeah, and every time Artie plays her number, he fills his clarinet with buckshot.
With buckshot?
Yeah, and that way he plays fantasy and pops the bubbles at the same time.
Pops the bubbles at the same time?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, I wish I were there last night.
Why, Bud, I'm surprised at you.
I can't help it, George. I'm just crazy about fantasy.
This Bud is really a musical genius.
He is. Say, did you know that Bud plays all the popular songs with one hand?
Well, what does he do with the other hand?
Drops in the nickels.
Anyway, last night I was out with this society girl.
Oh, who cares?
As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, and if it happens again, a certain guy is going to get fired. Last night I was out with...
Look, it might interest you to know that there's a certain clarinet player that you can't bully because he doesn't have to take that kind of talk.
Who? You?
No, Benny Goodman.
Very funny, Artie. A big scream.
Artie, that's a fine thing to say to George after the hundreds of nice things he's done for you.
Hundreds of nice things. What's he ever done?
Yeah, George, name one.
Name one? How about the time...
Yeah, Artie, how about that time?
What time?
Yeah, George, what time?
When I first found him. What was he?
Yeah, Artie, what are you going to say to that?
Nothing.
Well, that may be true. But, George, you've got a lot of nerve saying Artie was nothing.
I said Artie was nothing?
Oh, please, George, once is enough.
Wait a minute. Who does George think he is?
Yeah, George, who do you think you are?
This is stupid.
Please, Artie, you can't say George is stupid.
What?
Well, he is stupid.
You're nothing.
Yeah, you're nothing.
You're nothing.
Oh,
yes,
please,
you're nothing.
Boy,
Enough of you.
please. What's the argument about?
Well, he said I was nothing.
He said I was nothing.
Oh, aren't you two boys ashamed of yourselves arguing over nothing? Come on, boys. Shake hands and make up.
Well, against my will. All right, Ollie. I guess it was my fault.
Yeah, well, it's against my will, too. And it was my fault, I guess. After all, you have done a lot of nice things. You have done a lot of nice things for me. Anyway.
Name one.
Yeah, name one. Oh, quiet! This is going too far. You people are just jealous because I'm stepping into society.
Yes, George, I think it's great. Wonderful, marvelous, delightful.
Society?
No, spam.
Look, will you stop? This girl is coming up here tonight, and I'm trying to tell you
Pero
that
¿de qué
it's
se
very
trata de la
important
¿Por qué no me
that-
dijeron de la sociedad? Yo sé mucho de esas cosas, hombre.
Well,
Nada más.
now it's the guitar player. Senor Lee, why are you butting in?
Senor Burns, this society girl, this debutante.
Debutante?
See, is she pretty like that movie star Catherine Hartburn?
Heartburn? It's Hepburn.
Hartburn.
Hepburn. Do you know the Philadelphia story?
Is it clean?
What an ignoramus. I'll bet he can't even spell his own name.
I can't so spell my own name.
Well, let me hear you do it.
What? From memory?
Gracie, I don't think that was so funny.
Well, neither do I.
Well, what are you laughing at?
My brother Willie's letter. He's the one who's been drafted, you know.
Oh, yes, he just joined the Army, Willie.
Yeah, well, here's the letter. Dear Mother, Dad, Gracie, and Mr. Faversham.
Who is Mr. Faversham?
Well, that's the mailman. He always reads the letters first.
Well, that stands to reason.
Thanks very much for the birthday turkey you sent me. My tent mates and I lit the 21 candles, and we really had a wonderful time. Yesterday I was on...
21 candles on the turkey?
Yeah. Yesterday I was on the...
Your brother is 21 years old?
No, the turkey.
Oh, the turkey.
Yesterday I was on the top
So
of
he
bed...
put 21 lit candles on the turkey?
No, under the turkey.
Lighted the candles under the turkey?
Yeah. Well, how else could he cook it?
Well, I never thought of that. I see what you mean.
Yesterday I was on the target range with a group... George, what letter is this? An A or a V?
Looks more like an R.
No, it couldn't be R. His eyes look like cheese.
What about his eyes?
They're very weak. That's why his eyes look like
I
cheese.
see. Oh, well.
His O's look like M's.
His O's look quiet. He was on the target range,
yeah.
remember?
Yesterday I was on the target range with a group of rookies, and I shot for 3 hours. I would have shot longer, but I ran out of rookies.
Your brother ought to get a medal for a thing like that.
Oh, he did, but not just for that. He's also the only tank in the regiment who doesn't need armor.
That's a nice kid. He probably parts his hair with a corkscrew.
Yeah, well, so does my brother.
I was going to say corkscrew.
Yeah.
I should have said it.
Yeah.
Got a big laugh.
Well, say it.
Thanks. You see, you don't have to write for me.
No.
I just make a mistake, and what a wow.
Well, anyway, more letter.
Yes.
Thanks for the picture of Daddy you sent me to wear next to my heart. I had a little difficulty at first, but now I slip the picture inside of my woolen underwear and then climb in with it.
He climbs in with it?
Yes. It's a full-length picture.
I see what you mean, yes.
Even so, I had to cut the feet off the picture, as Daddy is 5 inches taller than I am, and I look silly being that far off the ground. Signed, Willie.
That's the finish of the letter.
Yes.
Good.
P.S. I've got 3 marvelous tent mates, but one thing seems to be lacking. We haven't got a tent.
Well, I've heard everything. Well, that's plenty, Gracie.
Now this movie, Dad, Charlie, and Little was saying there'll be some changes made, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Senor Lee would chime in.
For there's a change in the weather, there's a change in the sea. From now on there'll be a change in me. My walk will be different by talking my name. Nothing about me, honey, is gonna be the same. I'm gonna change my way of living, honey, if that ain't enough. Then I'll change the way I strut my stuff, 'cause no old and gray. There'll be some changes made today. Honey, there'll be some changes made today.
For there's a change en el clima, there's a change en el mar. También cambiamos nuestro modo de amar. Y si tú lo quieres, me cambio también. Buenas noches, cucaracha, boriodo, yo lo que yo te digo, no te quiero mentir. Voy a cambiar mi modo de vivir. Entonces es cuando tú me vas a amar. Y yo lo sé muy bien, my darling sweetheart, porque me voy a cambiar.
For there's a change in the fashion, and there's a change in the shoes. There's a new way people get the blues. I must make changes from old to new. I must do things the way the others do. I'm gonna change by tomorrow. I'll make my changes today. 'Cause I must have lots of loving. Ooh, I gotta have it or I'll fade away. Just hold your horses, lover boy is on his way. There'll be some changes made. Oh, there's a change in the weather, there's a change in the sea. From now on there'll be a change in me. My walk will be different, my talk and my name. There'll be some changes made today.
Oh, dame mi sombrero ya y tócame el rancho grande.
Well, Smoothies and Sanya Lee, that number was Tres Chick. That's French for in the groove. But none of you people would know that because you don't mingle with society, you see.
All right, poor man's Charlie Knickerbocker. Who we out with? Doris Duke or Barbara Hutton?
Happens to be Cubina Wright Jr.
Cubina Wright Jr.?
That's right.
Well, pull my tooth and call me Duchess.
Well, wise guy, she's coming up here tonight, and I'm taking her out right after the broadcast.
Say, George, if you want to make an impression, rent a butler and have the butler
Gracie,
come in and...
hire a butler. Rent a butler, did you say?
Yeah.
Gracie, hire.
George, if you want to make an impression, rent a butler and have him come
Gracie,
in.
hire.
George, if you want to make an impression, rent a butler. I'm sorry, that's as high as I can go.
No. Look, Gracie. You misunderstand me, and I'll pretty near kill the whole thing altogether. Look, Gracie, people rent furniture, they rent cars, and they rent apartments, but they hire butlers.
Well, that's Hollywood. They haven't got a dime bust. They've all got butlers.
Gracie, this whole thing was your idea.
Yeah, but I bet if I thought of it, you'd say it was silly.
All right, when Cubina Wright gets here, I'll rent the butler.
Hire.
Quiet.
Anyway, to impress her, have the butler announce your name in Russian.
In Russian?
Yeah, you'll be a much bigger name that way.
Well, I've had enough.
I've had enough? Oh, that's pretty. But personally, I like Rachmaninoff.
Look, Gracie, when she gets here, will you try and conceal your absurdity?
Oh, is that thing showing again?
Yeah, it's a little bit on the bias. It's showing just a little bit.
Senor Burns, if you want to make an impression on her, why don't you buy a racehorse like Saw Biscuit?
Saw biscuit?
See.
You mean sea biscuit?
Saw.
Sea.
Saw.
Sea.
Saw.
Sea.
Let me off. I'm getting dizzy.
Senor Lee, this goes for you, Gracie, and everybody else here. Tonight, I don't want any wisecracks.
Oh, leave it to me, George. Now, listen. As soon as she comes in, I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, have you tried Spam?
Spam? Spam?
Yeah. Now, what's your language?
It's spam.
Well, I say, what's your language?
When the line comes in.
Yeah, okay. Now, it's, what's this now? It's unadulterated porcine clavicle with ham meat added. How do you like that?
Oh, well, that's fine. That's very
now,
good.
Frigid or torrid, it strikes a responsive chord. Good and Richie, huh?
That'll help a whole lot. But society people don't talk that way. They have charm. They have culture. They're natural. Why, they hardly open their mouths when they speak. As a matter of fact, Bud, a big mouth shows lack of breathing. Isn't that right, Gracie?
Oh, don't ask me. I wouldn't know.
Okay. Anyway, Cubina Wright ought to be here any minute, and you'll really love her. She's a swell girl. But what I'm nervous about is right after the program, I've got to meet her uncle, and, gee, I hope I make a good impression.
Mr. Burns.
Yes, what is it, 4 years at Harvard?
If you'll allow a sound man, perhaps I can be of service.
Well, let's hear it.
Having majored in psychology at Harvard, I feel qualified to advise you on the art of making friends.
Well, thanks.
It's all a matter of striking a note of common interest.
I think you've got something.
For instance, if her uncle happens to be a philatelist, talk about stamps.
Yes.
If he happens to be an Epicurean, discuss foods.
Mm-hmm.
If he happens to be a fraternity brother, give him the fraternal handshake. It might even make it easier if you knew what college he went to.
Well, he's a Yale man.
Give him a hot foot.
Well, thanks for your help, Soundman. When Cubina gets here, I wish I could think of a novel way to impress her, but I can't.
I can.
Of course, I could have the boys give her a fanfare.
Well, of course, if my uncle were here, he and I could do something together, but he isn't here, so I guess I'll have to do something by myself again.
He comes in, we can roll out
my
a
uncle.
carpet.
You know, he's the one who sees with his thumb.
No,
my uncle.
That wouldn't
You know
do.
that, George? My uncle sees with his thumb.
It would be a
lot of
good
people
idea,
don't believe
though,
that. He sees
to have
with
her,
his thumb,
when
but
she
he
comes
does.
in, I'll just
See, my
walk
uncle
up to
wouldn't
her and
believe
say,
it. If he
hello,
hadn't seen
Cubina.
it with his own thumb.
How was things?
You see, my thumb,
Nice day
my
today.
uncle, with his thumb, he
Would,
sees his thumb, my uncle.
Sees.
With
his thumb.
Yeah, my uncle.
Your uncle.
Yeah.
Your uncle sees with his thumb?
Yeah, he sees if his soup is hot.
He sees if the soup is hot.
Now, Artie Shaw, his clarinet orchestra, put some original touches to the old spiritual, Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen.
Say, Bud, do you think I'd better call Emily Post? I've got about 1,000 questions to ask her.
Oh, no, you don't have to ask Emily Post. Ask any woman, George. If you ask women the right way, you can get the right answer without any trouble.
You can, Bud?
Oh, that's right. I'll show you how. Now, watch. Watch, George, now. Ladies, here in the audience, do you want to know how to give your family a swell taste surprise?
Say, Bud, I think you got something.
Thanks, George. Now, look, we'll go on for some more here now. And do you want to serve something that's easy to fix? All right. Now, it's all done with Spam, S-P-A-M. There's no mystery about it. Spam has become the most popular new meat item brought out in a generation. Originated by Hormel, Spam is delicious meat packed in a handy can. It has dozens of uses and a flavor all its own because Spam is different, isn't it? Well, folks, Spam is sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat combined with tender, tasty ham. Nothing else but those two choice cuts. That's the reason Spam has extra flavor, extra downright lip-smacking goodness. That's why Spam, served cold, as it comes from the can, makes a perfect lunch. Why sizzling hot slices of Spam fried for breakfast make your mouth water for more, and why Spam baked for dinner in all its meaty flavor completely satisfies. But get the real thing, ladies. Insist on Spam. Try those easy recipes on the label. Ladies, get Spam when you shop tomorrow. Are we all agreed?
Slice it, dice it, fry it, bake it, cold or hot, Spam hits the spot.
Say, George, if Cubina doesn't show up, I know a beautiful society girl that'll go out with you.
You do?
Yeah, but first you better call up Gladstone 1131 and see if I'm there.
You're a society girl?
Well, sure. It takes 4 maids to help me with my milk shower.
Your milk shower?
Well, sure.
You take milk showers?
Every day.
What's the 4 maids for?
To hold the cow over the tub.
Look, Gracie, you don't have to worry.
Yes.
Yes. Who are you?
I'm left over from the commercial.
Well, everything happens to me. Everything. Oh, here she is now. Don't forget, everybody. On your toes. Come in. Well, it's Cubina Wright, Jr. Well, how are you, Cubina? I'm so glad to see you.
Fine, George, and I'm very glad to see you.
Well, look, George. She talks with her mouth open. You told me society girls only talk like this.
Quiet. Gracie, this is Cubina Wright.
Now, George, don't forget Junior.
No, I want to meet him, too.
And, Cubina, this is Artie Shaw, our musical director.
How do you do?
Miss Wright, this is a pleasure. The charm of your presence exceeds even the flattering reports that preceded you. Boy, am I corny.
You can say that again, brother.
Cubina, you'll have to forgive Mr. Shaw. You see, as the saying goes, he's a little bit off the cob.
Oh, look who's talking.
Oh, she's got a wonderful sense of humor.
Say, Cubina, I thought you lived in New York.
Well, I do. You see, my being here is purely an accident.
Well, so is mine. My mother expected a boy.
Gracie, careful.
You see, Gracie, I can't stay still. I've got wanderlust.
Oh, that must be awful. Is it anything like the measles?
No, Gracie. Wanderlust means moving from place to place.
Oh, that's the measles, all right. You know, my brother got them in Texas, and the next day they were south of the border.
Gracie, Cubina means she travels.
Oh, like my uncle. Well, for instance, he winters in Palm Beach and summers in Newport.
Oh, really? And where does he fall?
On his face. And how's your uncle?
Cubina, don't you think we ought to go? oh, yes. Bud, this is Cubina Wright, Jr.
Cubina Wright, Jr.? Well, gee, Miss Wright, I've seen your picture in all the papers and magazines.
Why, thanks, Bud.
Now, there's one thing I'd like to ask you.
Well, what's that, Bud?
Do you really wash your things in Lux?
Why, Bud!
Yes, Bud, and I eat Spam, and I love it.
Well, Cubina, I just don't know what to say.
Oh, don't apologize for anything, George. This is the most fun I've had in months.
I'm so tired of going out with all these well-groomed, good-looking society men who spend so much money on you, who have such good education and fine manners, and it's a pleasure to be with you.
Why, Cubina.
Oh, please, Cubina, you're turning George's head. And if you turn it any more, he'll have to stand behind his back to shave himself. You follow me, George?
Yes, I follow you.
Well, you better stop or I'll call the cops.
All right, I stop.
George, what I said may not have sounded right, but what I meant was, I like a man I can make something of, a man I can mold.
Well, then, George is your man because you'll find him very moldy, and
Never
I
mind. Gracie, I wish you'd be quiet. This girl means something to me. Well, come on, Cubina.
Hey, Senor Burns.
What is it, Senor Lee?
I would like to go out with that Carbona.
Carbona?
See, she's really from society. She's a member of the 300.
400.
3 1/4.
400.
350.
400.
I'll take her, but you drive a hard bargain.
Well, come on, Cubina, let's go.
Hey, wait a minute. Cubina, is this on the level? After going out with fellas like the Vanderbilts, how can you go out with George?
Now, listen here, Mr. Shaw. What has Cornelius Vanderbilt got that George hasn't got? He's got wit, he's got charm, he's good company. And what's more, I'm definitely going out with him tonight.
George?
No, Cornelius Vanderbilt. Good night.
Well, Artie, you fixed it. That was a lot of wise cracks.
Yeah, with all those wise cracks.
Yes, all those silly things.
Yeah.
And, Gracie, don't you start again and don't help me with all this talk.
Yeah, Artie, we've had enough
listened to
of
you for years.
Artie, you've got a
And
lot
let
of
me
nerve.
tell you
It's fellows
something.
like you that make fellows like
All
you.
right,
Quiet!
Join us next week, same time, same station, for another Burns and Allen show with Artie Shaw and his orchestra and the Smoothies. This is Bud Heaston speaking for Hormel and Spam, reminding you to remember that cold or hot, Spam hits the spot. Have you tried Hormel chili con carne? Even those who think they don't like chili do like chili con carne the way Hormel makes it because it's different and everybody likes it. Double your money back if you don't like it. Try Hormel chili con carne tomorrow. This is the National Broadcasting Company. From Hollywood, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show for Hormel and Spam.
George and Gracie. Spam, whoa boy. Spam, what joy. George Burns and Gracie Allen on the show and his orchestra, singing glee with a smoothie sweet. Last but not least, with Bud Heaston.
Well, another Monday night brings that familiar phrase, time for Burns and Allen. It seems to me there's another familiar statement that says, you'll never know until you try it. And friends, you'll never know how downright delicious Spam is until you use this grand-tasting meat that comes in a handy can. Spam has dozens of uses, and a good way to introduce your family to this tender meat is to fry slices for breakfast. Just open the can, cut off slices of Spam, and pop in a hot pan. One bite of Spam's sweet, juicy goodness and meaty flavor will convince you that Spam will be served often at your house. So when your food dealer says, what'll it be today, ma'am? You just say S-P-A-M, Spam. And here they are, George and Spam's meat heart, Gracie.
Thank you. Well, Gracie, here it is Monday night again. Doesn't time fly?
Fine, thank you. And how are you?
Wait a minute, Gracie. What are you doing?
I'm knitting.
Yeah, but what are you knitting?
Oh, something. I love to knit. I'd rather knit than not.
You'd rather knit than not?
Yeah, and then again, there are some people who'd rather not be knitting than be knitting nothing.
Yeah, but what is this thing you're making?
Oh, a little thing for my brother Willie. He's the one who's at March Field. He's in the Army, you know.
Yes, I know he's in the Army, but what is it?
It's just like the Navy, but without water.
Well, thanks very much.
Well, can I believe my eyes? Is that George Burns in a new suit, new shoes, and spats?
Yes, it happens to be George Burns.
Burnsy, it isn't because of that society deb, Cubina Wright, Jr., who was up here last week, is it?
No, it isn't.
Well, there are only two reasons to be dressed that way. You're either in love or an end man in a minstrel show.
Look, Artie, I just as soon you stick to your music.
Yeah, Artie, you've got a lot of nerve making fun of George's clothes.
Oh, he's just sensitive.
Well, you'd be sensitive, too, if you looked as bad as George does.
Now, you stay out of this.
Yeah, Artie, you heard him. Stay out of this.
Are you cracked?
Cracked? Cracked? Wait a minute, I'll ask him. George, are you cracked?
I must be going out of my mind.
Well, George, don't admit it. Make him prove it.
Oh, quiet. How did this thing start?
Well, don't you remember you asked me what I was doing, and I said I was knitting nutting.
Oh, yes, for your brother Willie.
Yeah, he's in the Army, you know.
I know.
Oh, I love to knit. I do a lot of knitting. I'll never forget I knitted a bathing suit for my uncle, and I made it out of spinach, and Uncle looked so nice in it, he said...
Just a minute. You knitted a bathing suit out of spinach?
Well, yeah, and that way he doesn't have to go to the beach to lie around in the sand.
Say, Gracie, is there anything that's impossible for you to do?
No, but when the thing's impossible, it's harder for me.
Look, are you trying to make me an imbecile?
No, I'm making the sweater, but when I'm finished, I'll be glad to make you one.
How do I get into these things?
Oh, easy. They just button up the front.
Oh, quiet.
Oh, say, hey, George, look, your underwear is hanging over your shoes.
Bud, that happens to be spats.
Spats?
Yeah.
Well, now, Bud, don't do what Artie did. Don't say that he got dressed up on account of Cubina, because that's how they got into a big fight.
Really?
It wasn't Artie. It was on account of you.
Now, please, George, how can you say that to Bud? He wasn't even here when it happened.
All right, so I've got on spats and I'm wearing a new suit and I like it.
Well, gee, George, we all like it. Why, that suit makes you look very athletic. Makes you look like you've got pork shoulders with ham meat added.
Yes. I look spick and span. Well, Bud, we got it in.
Yeah, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
George, I can't knit. You're tangling my wool.
Oh, pardon me.
Desde ahora que están hablando de la sociedad, ¿por qué no me preguntan? Yo sé mucho de
Yes,
esas
I know,
cosas,
I
nada
know.
más que no me
That's the
preguntan.
guitar player. Senor Lee, what is it?
Senor Burns, that society girl who came here last week, her family came over on the cauliflower?
It's Mayflower. Cauliflower is, well, what is it that has a head like a cabbage, only it's a little softer?
Does it wear spats?
You know, it's a lucky thing for you people that I can hold my temper.
Oh, good, George. You can hold my knitting, too.
Look, I don't want to hold your knitting.
Well, then how can I read my brother Willie's letter?
And I don't want to hear your brother Willie's letter.
Well, then you hold the knitting and I'll read the letter.
Yeah, that's much better, I guess.
Dear Gracie, I can't thank you enough, Gracie, for the lovely toupee you sent me. It'll come in very handy if I ever get bald.
Gracie, if he isn't bald, why did you send him the toupee?
Please, Judge. Don't talk while I'm interrupting.
Oh.
And, Gracie, will you tell Daddy it was a swell idea to have my name tattooed on my chest, as it saves me a lot of talk. Now when a sentry stops me and says, "Who goes there?" all I have to do is unbutton my shirt and show him. And, Gracie, I hate to complain. And
Gracie, your brother must have been born insipid.
No, in San Francisco.
Oh, well, I'm wrong, I guess.
And, Gracie, I hate to complain, but I'm very disappointed in my Army gas mask. It doesn't relieve me half as much as Broma Seltzer.
Well, look, I'd just as soon not hear anymore.
Brigadier General Lachlan has been teaching us camouflage, and it's really a wonderful thing. I've been camouflaging myself as a rifle, and for 2 days my tent mate has carried me everywhere on his shoulder. Please.
Probably didn't know the kid was loaded.
Oh, George, please.
I wish you'd laugh long. That's all I've got.
George, please. More letters. It's fun being carried about, but it gets tiresome having my throat cleaned every day with a ramrod.
Had his throat cleaned with a ramrod?
Well, we'll have to close now and help the top sergeant hunt for his overcoat. By the way, did it reach you safely? Signed, Brooks.
That's all I want.
Now, Artie Shaw, his clarinet, and his boys will play Canto Caraballi.
George, look, there's nobody listening, and I noticed that you're all dressed up. So between you and my brother Willie's sweater...
Yes?
Is Cubina wearing your fraternity pin while you're wearing her spats?
Gracie, I'm going to settle this once and for all. The reason I'm dressed up is that I was invited to a private showing at an art gallery. Is that so terrible?
Oh, no. Did you have a nice time?
Well, it was really wonderful. I saw all the masterpieces, and while I'm no critic, I don't think anybody can touch Rembrandt's paintings.
Why, aren't they dry yet?
Yeah, they're still wet. Anyway, I looked in one room, and there was Whistler's mother and the blue boy.
Oh, please, Judge. I'm not interested in scandal.
Scandal? Whistler was a painter.
Well, I wouldn't care if he were a plumber. You've got no right to talk about his mother.
Gracie, you don't understand. I'm talking about James Abbott McNeil Whistler. He painted his mother.
Oh, sort of a beauty operator.
Yes, a beauty operator.
Well,
there's a place in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Doing very well.
Yeah, I know.
Making lots of money there.
Yeah. Well, I always say if the shoe fits, wear it. And if it's your mother, paint her.
That's what you always say.
Hey, what are you two cooking up here?
Oh, did you hear? George went to the art gallery with Rembrandt.
Quiet, Gracie.
Going around with Rembrandt, huh? Did Cubina Wright give you the air?
Stop with those wise
Oh, don't be so sensitive.
Well, George has a right to be sensitive. If you looked as fat as George does, you'd
now,
be
wait
sensitive.
Wait a minute. Don't start that again.
Yeah, honey, don't start that again.
Oh, quiet. Yes, Mr. Shaw. I went to the art gallery. I saw the works of Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Ginsberg, Da Vinci.
Ginsberg? Who's that?
Who's that? Happens to be one of the world's greatest painters. And he'll be remembered long after you and Frenesy are forgotten.
Gee, George, you must be pretty smart to know about Ginsberg. And, Bud, did you hear George tell how Whistler painted his mother and that George saw her the day before yesterday with Mrs. Blue Boy's son and nobody could touch them because they weren't dry?
Bud, did you understand what Gracie said?
Well, certainly, George. How Whistler painted his mother and that you saw her the day before yesterday with Mrs. Blue Boy's son, but nobody could touch them because they weren't dry.
Bud, that doesn't make sense.
It does, too.
It does not.
Oh, please.
Senor Burns, you're right about the Mayflower. I looked it up in the dictionary.
It isn't dictionary, it's dictionary. A duck is a silly-looking thing with flat feet.
Does it wear spots?
Look, can't you ever get one word right?
In a short while, I will speak better. I am taking a course from the International Correspondence University.
I see you?
Peekaboo, I see you too.
Look, if you people don't stop, I'm going to walk out of here and believe me, I'll never come back.
George, don't get so excited.
I've got a right to be excited.
Well, don't get excited. It's bad for your health. And the blood might rush up to your head, and the first thing you know, you'll see spats in front of your eyes.
Stop talking about spats.
Can I talk about Rembrandt?
Yes, you can talk about Rembrandt.
Has he got spats?
He's been dead for 500 years.
Are those his spats?
Look, I got dressed up. I went to the art gallery. I happen to love things that are arty.
Oh, thanks, George. I love you, too.
I had to bring that up.
You did? I didn't know you were Artie's father.
I didn't mean that.
Mr. Burns, if you'll allow a sound man to interrupt.
Yes, what is it, 4 years at Harvard?
How can you dare talk about art without mentioning the greatest work of all, the Mona Lisa?
Oh, I've seen that, and it's really a pip.
A pip? A masterpiece.
Well, I'm sorry.
In her smile, Da Vinci caught the enigma.
Well, maybe he slept with his window open.
Please.
What depth, what beauty. Do you know why the Mona Lisa is smiling?
Well, maybe while she was being painted, the brush tickled her.
Sound man, do you know why she's smiling?
Yes. Being a student of the arts, I can tell what goes on in anybody's mind by the expression on his face. Now take Bud Heaston over there. He's wondering how to get his message over to the millions of people who are not aware of the fact that this is the only meat of its kind that is made of pork shoulder and has ham meat added.
Oh, well, that's too easy. That was an easy one. But I'm still not convinced. What's Artie Shaw thinking of?
He's thinking of the same thing that I am. Who is Ginsberg?
He's a great painter.
Well, I can do that. I can read mine.
You can?
Well, yeah, I'll try it with Bud. Here, George, hold my knitting. Come here, Bud.
Well, all right, Gracie.
Now, Bud, concentrate. Close your eyes. Very close. All right.
Woo.
Well, Gracie, that wasn't on my mind.
Oh, isn't that silly? I read my own mind.
Look, sound man, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Cubina Wright, Jr.
Look, I told you a million times I have no interest in Cubina Wright, Jr. She was here last week, and that was the finish. I've never even tried to get in touch with her.
Well, why don't you send her some orchids?
I don't send girls orchids.
Well, why don't you send her some daisies?
I don't send girls flowers.
How about a package of seeds?
Look, I don't send girls anything. Only a chump buys flowers and things like that for girls. What do you think I am, a clarinet player?
I can't do it, kids. No, please.
Say, what's going on there?
Well, George, Charlie of the Smoothies here wants me to sing a song they wrote.
Well, do me a favor, bud. Get me out of this and sing the song. Do it.
All right. Spam is a meat that's delicious. It's pork shoulder blended with ham. That's why it has extra goodness and flavor found only in Spam. Spam, 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 Spam. Hormel put grand tasting meat in a can. Saves time, tastes fine. Ask your food dealer for Spam. Ladies, when you're tired and weary with the daily chores of planning meals, here's a little tip. Get a little old can of ever-loving Spam. Oh, yes, friends. Spam is delicious meat put up in a handy can originated by Hormel. Oh, that Spam is a perfect combination of sweet, juicy pork shoulder with that little old ham meat. And that, yes, that's why Spam is different. Why it has a taste and a flavor all its own. Oh, yes, ladies. And it's so easy to use. Try that Spam. Oh, you'll like the way it saves you time and gives your family grand-tasting meat. But get the real thing, ladies. Ask your food dealer for Spam. Then, instead of worrying about what to serve, you'll start singing. Spam, 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 Spam. Hormel put grand-tasting meat in a can. Saves time, saves fine. Ask your food dealer for
George.
Yes?
I just finished my brother Willie's sweater. Look.
Gracie, am I seeing things? Has that sweater got 4 sleeves?
Oh, well, I hope that's enough.
Well, what is your brother, an octopus?
No, just a private.
Well, why does he need a sweater with 4 sleeves?
Well, that's what it said in the paper. Congress okays new equipment, and by next week the boys will have additional arms.
Well, if I were you, I'd add a few more sleeves.
Oh, you think so?
Come in. Why, Cubina.
Well, look, everybody, it's Cubina Wright, Jr.
Why, Cubina, this is a surprise.
Well, George, I'm sorry to intrude now, but I simply had to see you. I just can't accept this mink coat you sent me this morning.
A mink coat?
A mink coat?
Oh, well, Cubina, that couldn't be from George. He said he wouldn't even give you a package of seeds.
Please. Cubina, let me explain about the mink coat, you see. You're taking it the wrong way.
Well, why don't you take it like my sister Bessie does? She just goes to the Brown Derby, buys a cup of coffee, and takes a mink coat.
You see, Cubina, I gave you that mink coat just as a token of our friendship.
But I wanted it to be platonic.
Well, platonic is pretty, but personally, I'd rather have mink or sable or silver fox or caracal.
How about Fitch?
I don't like fish.
Good.
Bones get stuck in my throat.
Oh, I hope.
Oh, please don't be offended, George. I don't want you to think I'm a prude.
I don't like prudes either.
Good.
The wrinkles get stuck in my throat.
Oh, quiet. After all, Cubina.
But don't feel too badly, George, because I will keep that nice quart bottle of perfume you sent me.
He sent you a quart of perfume?
Yes, and it's beautiful. It's the first time I ever saw Christmas night come in a seltzer bottle.
Well, you see, Cubina, I thought it would be handy in case you didn't have an atomizer. It's sort of...
Sounded like Senor Lee.
Well, figured I couldn't get a laugh the other way.
A quart bottle of perfume and a mink coat, huh? Brother, I quit.
Why?
One clarinet player on this program's enough.
Now, Cubina, I think you're very selfish not to accept that mink coat. You're not only making George very unhappy, but all the other little minks, too.
Look, Gracie.
After all, it took 250 minks to make that coat. And if you throw them all out of work, George will have to support them. He's already got a lot of relatives.
Gracie,
so I always say...
Look, Gracie, how can you talk so much and say so little?
Well, that's because I don't open my mouth when I talk.
Quiet.
And, George, weren't you going to extremes when you put that envelope in the coat pocket saying, enclosed fined $100 for alterations?
Well, I don't know what to say.
I could never accept that.
But, Cubina...
Here's $50.
$50, Cubina?
I'm sorry, George. That's all there was in the envelope.
Well, you see, it was dark, and I wrote the note in a phone booth.
Well, Cubina, I think you're silly not to accept George's offer. Why don't you accept George, too? George and Alfred Vanderbilt are exactly alike.
Well, you certainly went by the way of Syracuse for that. Alfred Vanderbilt and I are exactly alike?
Well, of course, he has blue blood in his veins.
Mm-hmm.
And yours is more like a greenish blue, more like a brown sort of...
White.
White blood,
yes, I thought so. But outside of that, we're exactly alike. Gracie, stop helping me.
There's one thing I don't like about Vanderbilt. He wears spats.
Oh, well, then they're exactly alike.
Gracie, thanks for the help,
Say, Cubina, I wouldn't be so hard on George. You know, you have no idea what he's gone through for you. Why, he even went through an art gallery.
Listen, Bud.
Yeah, Bud, and he even saw a blue boy while he was still wet.
Yeah. That's right, and he knows all about that great painter, Ginsberg.
All right, ignoramus. I'm glad you mentioned that. Cubina, wasn't that masterpiece that you pointed out to me painted by Ginsberg?
Ginsberg? That's Gainsborough.
Well, I was probably thinking of that old vaudeville act, The Three Painting Ginsbergs. They used to make pictures with sand. No, very well. They were handled by Tom Fitzpatrick, a great actor.
Hey, Carbona. You're making a mistake not taking that Minky.
Oh, please, senor. It's not Minky, it's Monkey, aren't you, George?
Stop helping me. And, Cubina, won't you please accept this coat?
No, George, I couldn't. And now I've got to get back to 20th Century Fox. And for being such a dear, here's a kiss.
Well, come on, Cubina. I'll see you to the elevator.
Now, don't forget the party next week.
I won't forget.
Hey, Rembrandt, so you don't send girls flowers, huh? You just send them seeds.
Say, George, I know where there's a sale and you can get a dozen mink coats for $50,000.
Yeah, with $100 bills in the pockets.
You boys all finished?
Yeah, that's right.
Was I invited to the party? Yes. Did I get a kiss? Yes. Did she take the coat? No. Look, wise guys, this happens to be my own little system. I take a $5,000 mink coat on approval, and it always works out like this. You see, no girl like Cubina would ever accept it. That makes me a big shot. So you see, Cubina...
George, I've got some wonderful news for you. I've talked to Cubina, and what do you think?
What?
She's accepting the coat. Here, Cubina.
Oh.
Somebody pick up George. While George is still unconscious, Gracie will sing Accidentally on Purpose.
Accidentally on purpose. You paused while passing by, accidentally on purpose. You tried to catch my eye. You made that chance remark that the day was mild. And let me ask you incidentally, was it accidentally that you smiled accidentally on purpose? You let me hold your hand. You did it on purpose. You had the whole thing planned. You thought that you were smart, but sweetheart, I wasn't fooled at all. Accidentally on purpose, I made you fall. And as I recall, it wasn't chance that romance happened to come to me. No, I fear the situation is plain. For every day in some way where I was you would be. Guess you thought you planned the whole campaign. Accidentally on purpose. You said, please pass the salt. Accidentally on purpose. I spilled my chocolate malt. We both began to laugh. And then I forget. I sort of kind of wonder incidentally, was it accidentally our eyes met accidentally on purpose? I left my gloves behind. I didn't intend to, but they weren't hard to find. You thought that you were quite aggressive, but you weren't the one at all accidentally on purpose. I fooled you, 'cause it wasn't any accident that made you fall.
Here's Here's a statement, friends, you can bank on 100%. Whenever the occasion calls for delicious meat at your house, serve Spam. Originated by Hormel, Spam has become one of the country's most popular mealtime aids. This delicious meat in a handy can has extra flavor because Spam by Hormel is a combination of juicy pork shoulder and tender ham cooked by Hormel's own formula to preserve all the natural flavor and tenderness of these choice cuts. You're really missing something good if you haven't yet tried Spam. Ask for Spam when you shop tomorrow.
Thanks, Bud. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Oh, good night. So we're going to Cubina's party next week, huh?
Yes, I know I'm going. I've got to get that coat back. It's on approval.
No, it's not. It's on Cubina.
It is. Now, good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we call your attention to your community's campaign for the celebration of the President's birthday. Every dime contributed in this campaign helps to build America's national defense against a cruel disease. And it helps the youngster around your own corner, too. So give a dime or $1 if you can. Fight infantile paralysis. Join us again next week, same time, same station, for another Burns and Allen show with Artie Shaw and his orchestra and the Smoothies. This is Bud Heaston speaking for Hormel and Spam, and reminding you to remember that cold or hot, Spam hits the spot. Have you tried Hormel chili con carne? Even those who think they don't like chili do like chili con carne the way Hormel makes it because it's different and everybody likes it. Double your money back if you don't like it. Try Hormel chili con carne tomorrow. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Spam, oh boy. Spam, what joy. George Burns, Gracie Allen, on the show and his orchestra, for singing glee with a smoothie sweet. Last but not least, with Bud Heaston.
Call your Uncle Elmer, phone your Aunt Matilda, tell them it's time for Burns and Allen. And when you want to fill the chairs around your table in double quick time, tell the family there's baked Spam for dinner. Spam, S-P-A-M, is tender, delicious, easy-to-serve meat. Originated by Hormel, Spam has a flavor and a quality all its own. There's nothing quite like it, nothing that tops its flavor, because Spam is sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat combined with tender, tasty ham. So give your family baked Spam. Just open the can, take out the meat, and bake for a few minutes. The easy directions are right on the label, along with other recipes for serving Spam cold or hot. Millions of families have found Spam delicious meat that's economical and easy to use. Ask your food dealer for S-P-A-M Spam when you shop tomorrow. And now for Spam's Meat Heart, Gracie Allen and George Mink Coat Burns.
Thank you. And, Bud, you can stop being such a comic, and that goes for everybody here. I don't want to hear any more about the mink coat I gave away last week.
All right, let's stop talking about it.
Good.
You mean the one you gave Cubina Wright Jr.?
Yes, and I don't want to talk about it.
About what?
The mink coat I gave Cubina Wright, Jr.
And why do you keep bringing it up?
I didn't bring it up. You're to blame for the whole thing. I didn't expect her to accept the coat. I merely wanted to think that I was a big shot, and what happened? You had to talk her into it.
Well, that's all right, George. You can do something for me sometime.
Gracie, you don't understand. Did anybody ever invite you out to dinner knowing that you couldn't accept?
Saturday night.
Good.
The food was delicious.
No, did any fella ever say to you, Gracie, let's go out on the balcony and look at the moon, knowing all the time that there was no moon?
Yeah, some smart aleck tried that on me once, and boy, did I fall.
No moon, huh?
No balcony.
Well, whether you understand it or not, that was a $5,000 coat, and I've got to get it back.
Ah, George, there's no use crying over spilt mink.
Spilt mink?
Yeah.
That's right, George. Cubina Wright Jr. was nice enough to invite us all to her party tonight. If you're going to mope about losing $5,000, you're going to spoil our whole evening.
Spoil your whole evening?
Well, George always does that. Just 2 weeks ago, we were invited to a lawn party, and George was the only one who came without a lawnmower. And
Gracie, just a minute. That's another thing I just as soon forget.
Going into a swimming pool with a tuxedo on.
Going in? I was pushed in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I did it.
You did it?
Yeah, you aren't even a good sport, staying at the bottom of the pool sulking.
Sulking? I was drowning.
Well, that's even worse. Why show off? Nobody else was doing it.
Gracie, I can't swim.
So what? Why stay at the bottom of the pool? That's nothing to be ashamed at.
Ashamed at?
Yeah,
I see what you mean. I told you I didn't want to talk about it.
And that language you used down there was shocking.
Gracie, I was at the bottom of the pool. How could you hear what I was saying?
I'm a bubble reader.
Well, this on top of that $5,000 mink coat certainly puts me in a great mood for Cubina Wright's party tonight.
Oh, gee, I can't wait to get there, George. Is Cubina Wright's mother really a leader of the 400?
That's right, Bud.
Well, just think. A real society party. I wonder if it'll be as exciting as it looks in the magazine ads.
Oh, yeah, society is more fun than any place.
Yes. What?
Well, imagine eating with real community plate silver.
But right now I'm thinking of something much more important. A certain young lady is wearing it, and it amounts to a neat little figure.
Well, thanks, George, and I didn't even think you noticed my dress.
Your dress?
And imagine eating Spam between a Vanderbilt and an Astor.
Well, it's also good between rye bread and a pickle.
It's nice, spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Look, you're all talking about parties and clothes. Nobody is interested in the mess I'm in.
I am, George. Of course, the sleeves are too long, but then again, the pants are too short.
But outside of that, I look fine.
Yeah. Now, if you can get somebody just to press it, it'll only bag at the knees. And I always say...
Never mind what
Hello,
you
George.
always say.
Hiya, George. How's the old fur trapper?
Fur trapper?
Yep. Every time you open your trap, you lose a fur.
Look, Frenessy, what should I have given her, a clarinet?
George, were you afraid you'd lose Cubina if you didn't give her a mink coat?
Leave Cubina out of this. I've got lots of girls, and I can keep my women.
Well, I've seen them, brother, and you ain't kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Artie Shaw's band laughing at Artie Shaw's joke. As arranged by Lenny Hayden.
Say, Artie, at Cubina's party tonight, how many dances are you going to have with me?
Well, gee, Gracie, I'm afraid your program will be full.
Oh, well, I never eat so much that I can't dance.
Artie, make up your mind. Are you going to dance or not?
Oh, please, George, I asked him first.
I'm asking for you.
Well, it won't do you any good because I'm dancing with Artie.
Oh, please.
What about it, Artie?
Well, I'd like to, Gracie, but I've got a sore heel.
Well, she can dance with George.
Gracie, don't let him fall flush.
No, I won't. We'll two-step.
Yeah, that's not half the dance the four flush is.
Bueno, ¿y a mí por qué no me invitaron a la fiesta? ¿Qué no cuento yo aquí o qué pasa, hombre? Yo también sé
We're
de
back
esas
in
cosas.
Mexico again. That's the guitar player. What is it, Senor Lee?
I wasn't invited to the party tonight, and I'm an insult.
Well, that's an outrage. Senor Lee, if I were you and didn't get an invitation, I wouldn't accept it.
Am I hearing right?
Don't worry. I'll get in by Hickory Creek.
You mean you'll get in by hook or crook?
You get in your way, and I'll get in my way.
Well, look, Senor Lee, do what I do. I've got a great system for getting into parties. I go to the door, and I ring the bell, and I say to the butler, I want to see somebody inside. And he says, who? And I say, me.
But, Gracie, that system could never work.
I know, but that's the only thing wrong with it.
Yes, do that, senor.
I know how to get in. I'll disguise myself as a foreigner.
A foreigner?
Si, senor. I'll make out I'm a duke.
A duke?
Si.
What does a duke say?
Quack, quack, quack.
What a duke says. Well, I've had enough. I'm only interested in one thing. I want to get back my mink coat.
Well, if you want to get it back, why don't you get to the party? You just ask Cubina a riddle.
Want to start that again?
Oh, you don't hear very well, huh?
Well, let's see. What did you say?
I said, if you want to get it back, when you get to the party, just ask Cubina a riddle.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
A riddle?
Yeah. You say, Cubina, what's the difference between a mink coat and a cup of coffee?
Yes.
And she'll say, I don't know. As long as she doesn't know, you give her a cup of coffee and take the mink coat. So very simple.
Now the Smoothies, Babs, Charlie, and Little will sing Sweet and Low.
Sweet and low, sweet and low, wind of the western sea. Low, low, breathe and blow, wind of the western sea. Over the rolling waters go, come from the dying moon and blow, blow him again to me. While my little one, while my pretty one sleeps. Low, low, rock-a-bye, my pretty baby, listen to my lullaby. Sleep and rest, oh, sleep and rest, oh. Father will come to thee soon, here by the light of the moon. Blow, blow, breeze, why don't you blow? Wind of the west, western sea. Over the rolling waters go, come from the dying moon and blow. Blow him again to me, to me, to me. While my little one, while my pretty one sleeps. While baby sleeps.
Well, when we get to the party, I'm going to get that mink coat back. I'll just tell her the truth. Well, come on, everybody, let's go. Where's Gracie?
Oh, well, right here, George. Oh, isn't this a scream? Look what my brother Willie says in his letter.
We haven't got time to listen to your brother Willie's letter.
Oh, he's in the army, you know.
I know he's in the army, but we're on our way to a party, you see.
Good. Well, then I'll read the letter at the party.
All right, read it at the party.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
Dear Gracie.
Look, Gracie, we haven't got time.
Well, it won't take long. Willie writes very fast.
Oh, he's fast writer.
Yes. Dear Gracie.
Writes a very quick hand.
Yes. Dear Gracie, period, comma, question mark, exclamation point, hyphen, apostrophe, semicolon, colon, dash.
Well, what's all that for?
Well, Willie doesn't know how to punctuate, so he puts it all at the top, and then I fit it in where it belongs. Dear Gracie.
That's a very smart letter. Well, look, Gracie, let's get to the party.
Dear Gracie, you notice that I'm not at Fort Rosencrantz anymore. Lieutenant Ward transferred me to Camp Ord because it's easier to spell.
Well, that's nice.
And yesterday...
Ord is easier than Rosencrantz.
And yesterday, during a sham battle, I captured a light armored tank.
Yes.
And it bit off 2 of my fingers before I discovered it was a snapping turtle.
Gracie, your brother must be a first-class dope.
He is. But he'd rather be a cop.
I see what you mean, yes.
Gracie, I don't want to offend Bessie, but ask her to stop sending me those chocolate-covered mothballs.
Just a second. Your sister Bessie sent him chocolate-covered mothballs?
Yeah, isn't that silly? And she knows he likes them covered with caramel.
Oh, yes.
And, Gracie, I've been eating a lot of macaroni and donuts, and it gave me asthma and hiccups, so I was transferred to the Fife and Drum Corps. Signed, Willie.
Look, I'm glad it's over. Come on, everybody. Let's get to the party.
P.S.
Oh, some more.
By the way, Gracie, I sent you the top sergeant's right shoe. Will you have Daddy try it on for size before I send you the other one?
Is the letter finished now?
Yes.
Well, let's get started.
Yeah, gee, I hope we have a nice time at the party. I hope those society people don't rich us and give us the pork shoulder.
Look, Bud, don't be so self-conscious. I wasn't invited until the last minute.
Yeah, the ham meat was added.
All right, wise guy. Just stick to those ribs.
Well, now, come on, boys. Let's go. Let me see. Who'll I go with? Bud, have you got a car?
No?
Gracie, I've got a car.
Art, have you got a car?
Nope.
Gracie, I've got a car.
Well, come on, boys. We walk.
Well, let's go, everybody. Goodbye, Senor Lee.
Oh, you'll see me. I'll be there. I'll get in by Hickory Creek.
Oh, yes, you will.
I'll disguise myself like Dr. Kildare. They'll open the door and say, hiya, Doc.
And what will the doc say?
Quack, quack, quack.
Okay, I'll see you there by Hickory Creek. Come on. Well, wait a minute. There's somebody at the door. Come in.
Mr. Burns, remember me. I'm Mr. Randall, the Fourier. I let you have that mink coat on approval last week. You wanted it for 5 days, and it's now 7, so I thought I'd drop in either for the check or for the coat.
Well, I'm sorry. Mr. Burns isn't here, are you, Judge?
Quiet. Mr. Randall, will you just give me a few more days?
Gladly.
Well, I don't think George will need a few days. With the system I've got, he'll be able to get the coat back tonight, even if he has to steal it.
What did you say?
Steal it.
Steal it!
Now, Randall, don't get excited.
Don't get excited. I've got a right to get excited. You got $5,000 worth of fur off of me.
Oh, I know. What did he use, an electric razor?
Randall, I'm not going to steal your coat.
No, Mr. Randall, George doesn't have to steal coats.
No.
No, he just gets them on approval and doesn't pay for them, like a gentleman.
Look, Artie, stop helping me.
Yeah, Artie, if George wants someone to talk like a numbskull, he can do it himself.
Look, Mr. Randall, will you wait here? I'm going to a party at Cubina Wright's, and I'll get the mink coat and bring it right back.
Well, all right.
Now, well, you don't have to worry, Mr. Randall. You'll get that coat, and we have to bring it back a sleeve at a time.
A sleeve at a time?
Yes.
Mr. Burns, I'm going to that party with you. I'm not taking any chances.
Well, Gracie, you've got things balled up nicely.
Oh, it was nothing, George. You could have done the same thing yourself if you tried.
Oh, will you stop?
Hey, Senor Burns, if this man goes to the party, then I can go too. I'm a furrier.
You're a furrier?
Sure, I'm a furrier. I haven't even taken out my first papers.
Oh, furrier, I see what you mean, yes.
But don't worry, I'll get in by
I hit the trick, I know. Randall, I can't take you to this party. How can I take a furrier to a society party?
Well...
You give up?
Well...
Oh, I know a way.
I thought so.
We'll introduce him as Reginald Worthington Schuyler Bullock IV.
Look, that's too long a name, and it sounds exaggerated.
Well, then we'll call him Reginald Worthington Schuyler Bullock III.
Well, that's much better and much, much shorter.
Now, Artie Shaw, his clarinet and his boys will play Old Rockin' Chair. Spam Show. Bud Easton speaking.
Oh, hello. This is the chef at the home of Madame Cubina Wright. Is Monsieur George Burns available for the conversation?
Why, no, not just now.
Well, the butler have just informed me of a party.
Oh, yes. I'm coming over right away, and the rest of them are on their way.
Oh, c'est impossible. Rien préparé. What will I do? I do not know how to serve on so short notice.
Oh, boy, what an opening you left.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Well, you want to serve a really scrumptious meal and do it quickly?
Oh, oui.
Then give us Spam.
What? Spam?
That's right. S-P-A-M. Spam. Now, listen. Just send the third assistant keeper of the pantry right over to the grocery store, get some cans of Spam. And get plenty, because Spam is a meat that keeps without refrigeration, Chefy, old boy. Now, here's the way you prepare baked Spam. First, open the can of Spam.
Do I open it?
Yes, that's very important. Then take a handful of cloves and stud the top of the meat with them. That's right. Then put the Spam in a shallow baking dish. Now, pop it into the oven and bake it. There's a swell brown sugar sauce described on the label of the can if you want to baste it with a dressing. And there's your main course, done in a jiffy. And your guests will love it. Spam is tender, juicy meat because it's a perfect blend of pork shoulder meat with ham meat added. And when you take it out of the oven, Chef, you can be sure that you have a pièce de résistance, a main course that is so delicious, so taste-tempting, so ooh-la-la that your party is bound to be a success. So take my advice and prepare a Spam bake tonight.
Ah, Monsieur Histon, you are magnifique. Voilà, it shall be done.
Voici, we'll be right over.
Slice it, dice it, fry it, bake it, cold or hot. Spam hits the spot.
George, I'm having a wonderful time at this party. This gentleman here is a wonderful dancer. And we must have the next dance, too.
I'd love to, madam, but I've got to go back and polish the silverware.
Gracie, that man is the butler.
The butler?
Did you notice he was carrying a load of drinks?
Well, you could never tell. He danced like he was perfectly sober.
Well, quiet. Here comes Cubina.
Now, don't forget, George. Just get her alone and tell her the truth. It's bound to work.
It had better work.
Relax, Florrie. And don't forget your name is Bullock. No, I'll get her outside alone.
Oh, there you are. You all having a nice time?
Hang tight, Cubina.
George, is there anything I can get you?
Yeah, mink coat.
Quiet. Cubina, could I see you alone for a minute?
Oh, gee, I've never been to such a swell party.
Thanks, Gracie.
See, who's that attractive-looking girl over there with the freckles?
Oh, that's Elizabeth Brown. Her father has millions.
Oh, yeah, he ought to carry a parasol.
Cubina, could I see you alone?
Cubina, is there any way of brushing off that silly dame who's been chasing me? There she is over there.
Mr. Shaw, that happens to be my aunt.
Oh, well, I didn't mean her. I mean the fat one next to her with the bobbed hair.
That's my uncle.
Boy, can he dance.
Cubina, could I see you alone
Hey,
for a minute?
Cubina, who's that tall, good-looking fellow standing over there examining the silverware? Oh, it's Bud Easton. Hello, Bud.
Hey, Gracie, it's real community plate.
Is it?
Gracie, you've tried Spam with eggs, haven't you?
Oh, yes, and it's delicious.
Well, try it with real silverware. It's wonderful.
Really?
Look, it isn't polite to yell, Bud.
What?
It isn't polite to yell.
What?
Hey, it ain't polite to yell.
Who was that?
My mother.
Cubina, could I see
Come
you
here, Mother.
alone?
I want you to meet some of my friends. This is George Burns.
Oh, well, how do you do?
George Burns? Why, Cubina, you're wrong. Doesn't look so old.
Old?
Mother, this is Miss Allen.
How do you do, Miss Allen?
You're Miss Allen.
Then who am I?
Mrs. Wright, you'll have to excuse Gracie. She's pretty silly.
Oh, that's nothing. I'm even pretty when I'm not silly.
Well, that's what I mean.
And, Mother, this is Artie Shaw.
How do you do?
Hello.
And this is Bud Easton.
How do you do?
Hello.
And this is a friend of George's. He's a polo player. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name.
So have I.
Mrs. Wright, he's Mr. Bullock. You know the Bullocks.
Oh, the Bullock family. Oh, certainly. What branch are you?
7th and Broadway.
Well, anyway, it's really a pleasure to be here, Mrs. Wright.
And Mr. Burns, I want to thank you for that adorable little coat you gave Cubina. Do you know it looked like real mink?
It looks like real mink. Do you know how long it takes to make a coat like that?
Bullock.
Do you know that this girl has one of the best skins in Hollywood?
Well, maybe she uses mud packs.
George, why is this Mr. Bullock so interested in my fur coat?
Well, you see, Cubina, he's sort of a collector of furs.
You mean he collects minks?
Either that or the $5,000.
Look, Cubina, could I see you alone for...
Miss Wright,
What is it, Jenkins?
there's a very dear friend of Mr. Burns waiting to see him in the library.
What's his name?
I don't know, sir.
What did he say?
Quack, quack, quack.
That's Senor Lee, our guitar player. Mrs. Wright, could you please ask him to go?
I'll see to it right away.
Well, thank you. Cubina, could I see you out in the garden alone?
Why, certainly, George.
Miss Wright, here's your mink coat you rang for.
I didn't ring for it.
Well, somebody did.
Who wants to talk about my brother?
Well, Cubina, would you like to have me take it upstairs?
No, I'll wear it out in the garden.
Oh, you are going to wear it out in the garden?
Yes, Mr. Bullock.
May I slip these mothballs in the pocket?
Mothballs? I thought he was a polo player.
Well, he is. You see, he plays miniature polo. He uses a very small mallet.
Say, George, you better get that coat back before the styles change.
Well, just leave it to me.
Cubina, dear,
Yes, Mother?
take care of our guests and see that they have a good time. I'm going out.
Why, Mother, you look wonderful with all your jewels on.
Yeah, you're prettier than Hollywood Boulevard.
Quiet.
Mother, who are you going out with, Frank Vanderlip or Gregory Thorndyke?
Neither one.
Well, then with whom?
Quack, quack, quack.
Cubina, could I see you outside?
George, what's on your mind tonight? Something seems to be troubling you.
Well, sure there's something on his mind. How would you like it if your best friend was a polo player named Bullock and his name turned out to be Randall?
Gracie.
If a thing like that happened to you, Cubina, you'd jump out of your skin. And if you did, I bet George would grab it and Randall would grab George.
Oh, quiet. Look, Cubina, last week you said a nice girl shouldn't accept a coat from a fellow she just met. And I agree with you.
You're so sweet to admit it, George, that I'm going to keep it.
Oh.
Oh, look, Gracie. George fainted. How can we revive him?
Well, just throw a mink coat in his face.
Don't forget to put Spam on your shopping list tomorrow. Originated by Hormel, Spam is absolutely the most popular new meat item brought out in a generation. A perfect combination of pork shoulder and ham, this delicious meat in a handy can has become a mealtime mainstay in millions of homes. If you haven't yet tried Spam, do so tomorrow. You're really missing something extra good because cold or hot, Spam really hits the spot. Ask your food dealer for Spam.
Ladies and gentlemen... Oh, Gracie, say goodnight.
Well, good night.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we leave tonight, and our next broadcast will come from Chicago.
George, you can't leave yet.
Why not? I gave the man the checks for the trunks. I gave him the check for the suitcase.
Yeah, but you forgot to give the man the check for the fur coat, if you know what I mean.
Oh, good night. Good night, sir.
Join us again next week, same time, same station, for another Burns and Allen show with Artie Shaw and his orchestra and the Smoothies. This is Bud Easton speaking for Hormel and Spam, reminding you to remember that cold or hot, Spam hits the spot. Have you tried Hormel chili con carne? Even those who think they don't like chili do like chili con carne the way Hormel makes it because it's different and everybody likes it. Double your money back if you don't like it. Try Hormel chili con carne tomorrow. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
From New York, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show with Beatrice Fairfax for Hormel and Spam.
George and Gracie. Spam, oh boy. Spam, what joy. George Burns, Gracie Allen, are sharp when it's orchestra, singing glee with a smoothie sweet. To start the fun, here's Jimmy Wallington.
Monday night, and time for Burns and Allen. And when the kitchen clock warns, hurry up, Mother, time for the youngsters to come running home, take it easy and solve the school lunch problem with Spam. S-P-A-M. Spam is that delicious meat originated and made only by Hormel. It's packed in a handy can, all ready to eat as soon as it's opened. No fuss, no bother. Just cut off slices of this taste-tempting meat, put between slices of buttered bread, and say to the hungry youngsters, have a Spamwich. The perfect combination of sweet, juicy pork shoulder and tender ham. Spam has an extra goodness and meaty flavor all its own. Youngsters go for Spam in a big way. Try Spam tomorrow. When you see the easy recipes on the label, you'll discover you can serve Spam cold or hot. It's America's popular mealtime aid. So ask your food dealer for S-P-A-M, Spam. Now we bring you George Burns, who's fit to be tied because Spam's meatheart Gracie hasn't arrived yet.
Kyle, that's fine. We're on the air and no Gracie. Jimmy, have you seen her?
Oh, sure. I've seen them both.
Both?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they've been together every night this week.
Together? Together with whom?
George, you know I'm the last one in the world to start any trouble.
I know, Jimmy.
But I was at the Ritz Cocktail Lounge, and right at the next booth.
Uh-huh.
You know the place where they have those curtains?
Yes.
Well, look, George, for all I know, it may be platonic.
Look, Jimmy, who was Gracie with?
Well, do me a favor, will you? Ask Artie Shaw.
All right, I will. Artie Shaw.
Senor Burns, he hasn't come in yet.
Artie hasn't come in either?
You smell a mice?
Wait a minute. Hey, Jimmy, it can't be that Artie Shaw and Gracie are they together?
Well, George, I've only been with you for 4 weeks. I know from nothing. I'm staying with you the rest of the season.
Well, I'll give that guy a piece of my mind when he gets here.
Fire him. Get rid of him. I know a musician who can play rings around that Shaw. And besides, I'll work cheaper.
Senor Lee, you want to lead the band?
Why not? What's Artie Shaw got that I haven't got? And don't answer that question.
How do you like that? Gracie and Shaw. Cocktail lounge. Booths with curtains. Both late for the show and we're on the air. I wonder where they can be now.
Cab driver.
Yes, miss?
Once more around the park. Oh, isn't it thrilling, Artie? You and I alone in a cab. Just think, we've been together for 34 weeks. And for 33 weeks, you never even looked at me and I never looked at you. And last week, you looked at me and I looked at you. And here we are looking at each other. Hello. Artie.
Yes, Gracie.
I'm holding your hand.
I'm holding yours, too.
Oh, I knew someone was holding it, but I didn't know it was you.
Well, it's me.
Artie.
Yes, Gracie.
now that I'm holding your hand, do you know what I'm thinking of?
What?
Oh, I hate to tell you.
Come on, tell me.
Well, promise you won't look at me when I say this.
All right, I promise.
They're moving the aquarium up to the Bronx.
Now I'm worried about my musicians.
The poor fish. Oh, isn't the park beautiful? Look at those swans over there with those beautiful long necks. If I were a swan, I'd have a long neck, too. I love long necks. Drive it once more around the park.
You know, Gracie, this is wonderful, but we really must get back to the studio.
Oh, there's one thing I want to know, Artie.
What, Gracie?
Artie, I've followed your career, and I know I'm not your first love, but there's one thing you've just got to tell me.
What's that?
Well, now that you've held us both in your arms, which one do you like better, me or your clarinet?
Gracie, you'll have to give me a little time on that one.
Artie, do you like home cooking?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, well, when I'm out working, you can be home cooking.
Look, Gracie, it's getting very late.
Oh, and just think how happy we'll be growing old together, the three of us.
The three of us?
Yes, you and I and Frenessy.
Look, Gracie, we'd better get back to the studio before the broadcast is over, and we'd better not walk in at the same time.
Well, I guess you're right. Driver, once more around the park.
Jimmy, try to understand this. The show is pretty near half over, and they're still not here. You said you saw Gracie in a booth at the Ritz.
But I didn't say she was with Artie.
But Artie was there, wasn't he?
But I didn't say he was with Gracie.
But you say that you peeked through the curtains?
Yeah. And what do you think they were doing?
What?
Well, eating spamwiches.
Eating spamwiches?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, that's that delicious pork shoulder with ham meat added.
How could you think of spam at a time like this?
I know from nothing. I'm staying with you the rest of the season.
Smoothies, will you do me a favor and do your number right now? I'll find those people. I'll call the Ritz Cocktail Bar.
Senor Burns, if I were you, I'd fire that Shaw. Why don't you give him 2 weeks' notice, starting last month?
I think I will.
Some nerve, that Shaw. He's taking the wrong altitude.
Altitude?
Si, senor.
Attitude. Altitude means high.
At the cocktail bar, he's drinking milk?
Well, I'll find him. Smoothies, let's have your number. Operator, get me the Ritz-Carlton, please.
Just a song at twilight, till we can hear it at close of the day. Love will be found the sweetest song of all. Just a song at twilight, when the lights are low and the flickering shadows softly come and softly go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight, there it comes, it comes stealing. Love's old sweet song. When the flickering shadows start a-falling, just when you will hear love calling. Love's old sweet song. You're sure to hear it, never fear it. Love's sweet song.
Was Artie Shaw and Gracie Allen there? Oh, well, when did they leave? I see. How long were they there?
Hello, everybody.
Gracie.
Hello. Oh, hello, George. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Artie. George, where's Artie?
Where's Artie?
Oh, now don't tell me he's late. Well, I am surprised.
Look, Gracie.
You know that old saying, the early worm catches the bird. I mean, the early bird catches the worm. That is backwards.
Yes.
Then again, it doesn't make any difference because the worm is the same end at both ends, isn't it, George?
Yes, certainly is. Look, where have you been?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Gracie, where have you been?
Where have I been?
Yes.
Where have I been? Where have I been? George, which reading did you like best?
Gracie, where were you?
Where was I? Well, I wasn't in the music hall.
You weren't.
Oh, I did walk down 57th Street. I was at Milgram's. Yeah, that's where I was. I was at Milgram's. George, that's a beautiful shop. You must buy your clothes there. They've got the most beautiful dresses.
You were, at Milgram's?
Yes, their dresses are simply
It's
beautiful.
now 7:30, and Milgram's closes at 6 o'clock.
It does?
Hmm.
Oh. Then I must have been locked in. That's where I was. I was locked in.
You were locked in?
Yes.
Well, if you were locked in, how did you get out?
Yeah, how did I get out?
Yes.
I must have gotten out.
Oh, sure.
Because I'm here.
Hmm.
If I wasn't here, I'd be locked in. And I'm not locked in, so I must have gotten
You
out.
must have gotten out, George.
I rang the burglar alarm. That's what I did. I rang the burglar alarm.
You rang the burglar alarm?
Yeah, and the burglar came down and let me out.
The
That's
burglar
what I
The burglar let you out, huh?
You don't believe it, huh?
No.
Didn't sound good to me either. Would you believe it if I said Burglarman?
No.
Mason Faceman?
Gracie, I want the truth.
Oh. Well, as long as you're going to be stubborn about it, I was with a sick friend.
With a sick friend?
Yeah, and if you don't believe this one, I've only got one more.
What's the name of the sick friend?
Well, I don't know. He was too sick to tell me. He had pneumonia.
Had pneumonia?
Double pneumonia.
Double pneumonia?
Oh, it wasn't exactly double pneumonia. It was sort of a single pneumonia.
Single pneumonia,
More
yeah.
like a three-quarter pneumonia.
Three-quarters pneumonia.
Had a cold.
Yeah, had a cold.
It wasn't exactly a cold. He sneezed.
Sneezed, yeah.
Just sneezed once.
Sneezed once.
So he sneezed just
Just
once.
once he sneezed,
Matter
yeah.
of fact, he was never even sick.
Huh?
The healthiest man in the world. He's strong as a bull.
Strong as a bull?
Died, you know.
He died?
Yeah, from double pneumonia. Well, it wasn't exactly double pneumonia.
Quiet,
It was more like
quiet. I'm asking you for the last time, and I'm running out of patience.
Well, that's good, because I'm running out of excuses. Well, what really happened was I was waiting for the 6th Avenue elevator, and I knew that I had to go to the broadcast. And
You
then...
were waiting for the 6th Avenue
Yes,
elevator?
I knew I had to go to the broadcast.
6th Avenue elevator?
Yes, yes.
That's been down for 2 years.
Well, that delayed me a little. So... I went over to
Look,
Fifth Avenue, and I
Gracie,
took
I
a bus.
happen to know where you are because somebody saw you. Hey, Jimmy.
I know from nothing I'm staying with you the rest of the season.
Fine. Come here, Gracie. I want to see you alone.
Alone?
Yes, alone.
Just you and me?
Just you and me.
Well, I know the cutest spot, the Ritz Cocktail Lounge. It's got little
The Ritz
little
Cocktail
curtains and
Lounge.
the cutest
I see
waiters,
what you
and
mean.
they got a small silver...
And now Artie Shaw's orchestra, without Artie Shaw and without his clarinet, will play Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child.
Wait a minute. Hey, stop the music. What was that? Hey, that's that clarinet. Oh, so you sneaked in, huh? Come here, Shaw.
Yes, Mr. Burns.
Now, you can stop with that yes, Mr. Burns stuff. Do you happen to know that we've been on the air for 20 minutes?
Yeah, I heard it, George, and it was really a killer. You were never funnier in your life. Okay, fellas, here we go.
Wait a minute with that one, too.
Why, Artie Shaw, I'm ashamed of you. Well, the only thing that could make anyone this late to a broadcast would be a cyclone or a tornado, or else you met a very beautiful girl. Hello.
Hello.
Quiet. Artie, where have you been?
Well, I sat up with a sick friend.
A sick friend?
Artie, that won't work, and the one about Milgram is dead, too.
Artie, it might surprise you to know that this program can go on without you. And it's possible for somebody in this great big city to take your place, you know.
Muchas gracias, Senor Burns. All right, boys. A 1, a 2, and Shaw, turn the pages.
Yeah.
Senor Lee and his orchestra and his guitar playing.
Quiet. Artie, don't think you're getting away with anything. I happen to know that you and Gracie were at the Ritz Cocktail Lounge.
Look, George, that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah? Hey, Jimmy.
I know from nothing I'm staying with you the rest of the season.
Well, Artie, this is your last chance. Were you and Gracie at the Ritz Cocktail Lounge?
Oh, the Ritz Cocktail Lounge. I thought you said Hammock or Slemmer.
Hammock or Slemmer? Yeah, Artie, that's that new bar next to that other cafe, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh, George, just Abercrombie now.
Just Abercrombie now?
Yeah, they're moving the Fitch up to the Bronx.
Artie, what really went on behind those little curtains?
Hello.
Oh, stop with that. Hello, stop with that. Artie, what went on?
Well, look, Gracie read me one of her brother Willie's letters. Didn't you, Gracie?
I did? Oh, the letter. Oh, my brother's letter, Willie's letter. Oh, you see, I get so many letters, I didn't know which brother you meant. He's the one in the army, you know.
I know.
He's my brother, you know.
I know that. He's at Fort Dix, New Jersey.
No, Fort Myers, Florida.
Fort Myers, Florida?
Yeah.
He was transferred again.
Well, he wasn't exactly transferred. What happened was he was standing in rank, and the captain howled forward march, and Willie had his pants on backwards,
And
so he ended up in Florida.
yeah.
Sure.
That's Willie, all right.
He's my brother, you know.
I know that. I know he's your brother. And I don't believe the whole story.
Well, George, that's the best I can do unless you want me to go back to the one about Milgram.
Gracie, I've heard your story. And Artie, I've heard your story. But Jimmy, I haven't heard your story.
Well.
Yes.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Susie.
Susie? What's that got to do with this?
Oh, this is even better than the Milgram story.
Oh.
Anyway, Susie, who was a very smart girl, suddenly remembered one afternoon that she hadn't planned dinner. And the clock on the wall said...
Ha. It's 5 o'clock. What are you going to have for dinner, dearie?
But Susie only laughed and said, whenever the occasion calls for delicious meat, serve Spam. Friends, you will be pleasantly surprised when you discover how Spam baked for dinner is a real taste tempter that satisfies a family completely. That's because Spam, S-P-A-M, is a perfect blend of sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat and tender ham, seasoned in a better way, cooked to a delicious extra goodness. Plan a meal around baked Spam. It's so easy. Just open a can of Spam, place the meat in a shallow baking dish, and bake according to the recipe on the label. In a jiffy, you'll take to the table a main course so distinctive in meaty flavor, so filled with lip-smacking satisfaction that the family will say, Spam is really elegant eating. Give the folks baked Spam tomorrow. The easiest to get, best to eat dinner you've had in a long, long time. But start right and get the real thing. Be sure to ask your food dealer for S-P-A-M, Spam. And then you'll be happy like Susie in the story, who found...
Susie winked her eye, and Sam passed her by, but baked Spam for dinner was the way she got her guy.
Oh, Judge, stop worrying about Artie Shaw and me. As a matter of fact, he treats me like a dog.
He treats you like a dog?
Yes. He holds me on his lap and he pets me.
Gracie, will you stop? Everybody is beginning to think that your head is full of silly romances.
Yeah, well, don't believe it, Judge. There's nothing in it.
You're telling me. Oh, somebody, come in.
Good evening. I'm Beatrice Fairfax.
Beatrice Fairfax? You write the advice to the Lovelorn?
That's right.
Well, that's wonderful.
You, Miss Fairfax, did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here, Gracie.
You wrote Miss Fairfax a letter?
Oh, well, what a letter. Hello.
Oh. So, Miss Fairfax, that's why you're here, huh?
Yes, Mr. Burns. I've been answering letters over a period of years. Some have been almost unbelievable. But never have I received a letter quite as confusing as this one.
Oh, thanks. And it's original, too.
Well, Miss Fairfax, do you mind reading the letter?
I'll be glad to. Dear Miss Fairfax, I have in front of me a long list of names of men who are itching to marry me, but I can't marry them all at once, and I don't know which one to scratch off.
Well, that's a nice way to start a letter.
Letter continued. I'm in love, I think. I'd hate to feel the way I do and then have it turn out to be the flu. Signed, Gracie, Anonymous, Allen.
Gracie, Anonymous, Allen. Gracie, what's happened to you?
Oh, I don't know, George, but ever since I've been in New York, I'm beside myself. All day long, I'm beside myself. I go in a phone booth and I'm beside myself. Pretty crowded in a phone booth beside yourself.
Well, that's fine.
Miss Fairfax, have you ever been beside yourself?
Quiet.
I think Miss Allen's been bitten by the love bug.
Oh, no. He only holds my hand and bites the clarinet. Wow.
Hello.
Senorita Fairfax, I have a sweetheart. You give advice to the love-worn?
Love-worn? It's lovelorn. Worn means something very old, tired, ready to be thrown away.
Oh, you know Dolores.
Miss Fairfax, that gives you an idea of what I have to put up with.
Oh, yes, George. Doesn't he say silly things?
Yeah, and you're all right. You're fine.
Well, you see, Laura, there's a strange thing that brings people together and then suddenly knocks them off their feet.
Oh, like a subway, huh?
Yeah, just like the subway. That's what she means.
You know, Miss Fairfax, your work must be so interesting. I'm surprised you don't take it up.
Yeah, she'll start any minute.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is fascinating. Of course, my correspondence is tremendous.
Well, a little exercise will take that off. My sister Betsy has tremendous correspondence, but she likes potatoes, you know.
She doesn't mean that.
What I mean, Miss Allen, is that I get up every morning at 6 a.m. and start pounding my typewriter.
Oh, well, I know just how you feel. You know, I'm in a nasty mood myself early in the morning. As a matter of fact, I do a little writing, too. I just finished an article for Liberty, and it'll be on the newsstands tomorrow. It's called How to Get Rich Quick. And it's great for people who have only a half an hour for lunch.
You see, Miss Fairfax, nothing phases that great brain.
No, me either.
Yes.
There is a subject you can give me advice on. I always wanted to get rich.
Oh, well, there's really nothing to. Not take Jimmy Wallington or take Artie Shaw. No, Artie's already taken. You better take Jimmy Wallington.
Jimmy Wallington?
Yes, Jimmy Wallington. He's that tall fellow who sells Spam in our program. Oh, and by the way, Spam is pork shoulder with ham meat added, and you must try it. It's simply delicious.
Is Jimmy Wallington a millionaire?
No, but he's got a mustache.
She means has he got millions?
Oh, no, only one mustache.
Only one mustache.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, yes.
But isn't it cute? Oh, Jimmy, turn around.
How do you do, Miss Fairfax?
Say, it is cute.
Yes, it's a little dull.
Well, I've got to run along now.
Oh, no, wait, Miss Fairfax. Now I want you to meet something that is really something. But before you meet him, you must promise me one thing. That you won't talk for 5 minutes. That you'll just stand there and look at him. Artie, come here. There he is. Hello.
Hello. Oh, my goodness.
Now, Artie, stand up straight. Now, smile for Miss Fairfax. Now, Artie, turn sideways so she can see your profile. Now, Miss Fairfax, feel his muscle.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Now, go on. Feel his muscle, Miss Fairfax. Now, Artie, throw your head back. Now, Artie, just a little more. A little more. Miss Fairfax, isn't he pretty?
Oh. Look, Gracie, will you stop?
Well, I've had a wonderful evening, and I've just got to run along. Is there a drugstore downstairs?
Yes, right. You got us in a fine mess with the great columnist. She's in every newspaper. She's spread all over the country.
Why doesn't she wear a girdle, Mrs. Sebastian?
Quiet.
Hey, wait a second, George. You can't talk that way to Gracie.
Yeah, well, that goes for you, too.
And you can't talk that way to Artie.
That's right, I'm going.
No, wait for me, baby. Goodbye, George.
Goodbye, George.
Wait a minute. Where are you two going?
Once more around the park.
Once more around the park.
Do the family a favor and remind Mother to get a can or two of Spam when she shops tomorrow. This delicious meat packed in a handy can is grand to eat, easy to serve, cold or hot. Originated by Hormel, Spam has become the most popular meat item brought out in a generation. You millions who use it regularly know how delicious Spam is, how it stands alone in taste, quality, and flavor. If you haven't yet tried Spam, you're really missing something extra good. Get a can from your food dealer. Try the easy recipes on the label. Tomorrow, ask for Spam.
Thanks, Jimmy, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Gracie, I thought you left with Artie.
Well, I came back to get some cab fare. Hello.
Hello. Good night, all.
Same time, same station for another Burns and Allen show with Artie Shaw, his orchestra, and the Smoothies. This is Jimmy Wallington reminding you to remember that cold or hot, Spam hits the spot. From New York, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show for Hormel and Spam.
George and Gracie. Spam, whoa boy. Spam, what joy. George Burns, Gracie Allen, Art Shaw, when his orchestra, the singing glee with the Smoothies three. To start the fun, here's Jimmy Wallington.
Another Monday night at your house, and time for Burns and Allen, and time for you to discover the way women all over the country have learned how to give the family a breakfast that is different. Serve Spam fried. Spam is tender, tasty meat, a perfect blend of sweet, juicy pork shoulder meat and ham cooked to a savory goodness. Made only by Hormel, Spam is packed in a handy can, so all you do is open it, cut off slices of Spam, and fry quickly in a hot pan. Serve sizzling hot with eggs or a stack of wheat cakes, and you'll start the family off in the morning with a meal that sticks to the ribs. Try Spam fried, the quickest, tastiest breakfast you've had in many a day. But start right and get the real thing. Be sure to ask your food dealer for SPAM, Spam. And look who's here, your two delightful Spam stars, George and Gracie.
Thank you very, very much. 1st of August, in the middle of July, the afternoon was wet and the morning was dry.
Gracie, you're in a very, very gay mood tonight.
Gay mood? Well, sure I'm in a gay mood. Everybody's in a gay mood today. Today's the day.
Today's the day.
St. Patrick's Day.
I see.
Oh, it's a wonderful day in the year, and I'm not saying that because I'm Irish.
Oh, no.
Of course, I'm only Irish on my mother and father's side.
I say. Only on your mother and father's side.
Yeah, and that goes for them, too.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Oh, I can just see my uncle tonight with his top hat and his frock coat looking into the mirror to see if his black eye's on straight. Was on the 31st of August
in the middle of July. I'll bet your family was in good spirits tonight.
Oh, and vice versa. Oh, George. George, I marched in the Fifth Avenue parade today. It was the St. Patrick's Day parade, you know.
I know, I was born in New York. I've seen those parades.
Boy, what excitement.
Every year you have those parades.
Yeah, what excitement,
Born
what
here,
music,
you know,
what
yes.
glamour, what bargains at Bergdorf Goodman's window, what crowd.
Wait a minute. Bergdorf Goodman's window?
Yeah, what crowd.
Even the parade didn't stop you from window shopping?
Oh, no. Oh, and this is kind of cute, George. A floor walker was peeking out of the window, and he was flirting with me.
Flirting with you?
Well, I sort of looked at him, and he winked back at me. And,
he winked back at you?
Yes.
I see.
And, you know, he looked
You didn't wink at him first?
No.
Did you ever wank at anybody?
No. No, he just looked at me, and... you know who he looks like? He looks like that movie star with the big mouth, you know, Joey Green. He was sort of tall.
Joey Green?
Yes, he was sort of
They say
tall.
it's Joey Brown.
Not on St. Patrick's Day.
It was on the 31st of August in the middle of July. So you were in the parade today, huh?
Oh, yes. And it stopped at 57th Street, and we had a 2-hour demonstration.
A 2-hour demonstration?
Yes. There was a traffic light there, and every time it turned green, we cheered.
I see what you mean, yes.
And every time it turned red, we booed.
You
We
booed?
had more
Gracie,
fun.
I'll bet there must have been a lot of booze.
Oh, no booze. Nobody was drinking. It was on the
31st of August in the middle of July. Oh, no booze. Oh, stop, Gracie. I'm getting so hoarse I can hardly talk above a whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, just imagine, George.
Do you Hennessy what I mean?
George, just imagine.
That's a $3 joke.
Just
Got
imagine.
another joke later that I'll use for chaser.
Judge, just imagine little me of all people leading such a big parade. 80,000 Irishmen following me. 79,000 were policemen.
I see what you mean.
There was I with the baton in my left hand.
Gracie, in the first place, I don't believe you were leading the parade.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, I wasn't exactly leading the parade. I was sort of up in front, more like in the middle.
Oh, in the middle.
Well, more towards the end, sort of like last.
Like last, yes.
It was a great parade, they tell me. I'm sorry I missed it.
You missed it?
On the 31st of August in the middle of...
Stop.
Well, I didn't exactly miss it. What happened was, I was on the sidewalk, and there was a little fellow who couldn't see the parade, so I put him on my shoulder.
A little fellow?
Yeah, Mayor LaGuardia. And he...
Wait a minute.
So I put on...
Mayor LaGuardia?
Yeah, it was on the
31st of August in the middle of July. Look, I've had enough of this parade and enough of the song.
And, George, during the parade, there were men selling shamrocks, green ice cream, furniture, clay pots,
They were
canes.
selling furniture?
Yeah, a man came up to me and he said, lady, will you give me 25 cents for a bed? And I said to him, I said, now listen to me,
Gracie,
my good man.
Just a second.
I
If you
said-
don't mind pausing, I have a line.
Well,
A very big line. Gracie,
anyway-
the man was a panhandler.
no, he was only handling beds.
Oh, he didn't have any pens.
Well, I couldn't tell. He had on a long overcoat.
Overcoat. This is All right, please.
Say, Gracie, whenever you meet a panhandler, why don't you do what I do? I just brush them off.
Well, Jimmy, with your mustache, you can do it.
No, what I mean is, Gracie, I don't give them any cash. Now, just the other day, I met a man who said, Mister, I'm starving. Would you help me?
Oh, isn't that silly? Why should you help him starve?
I didn't, Gracie, I didn't. I just reached in my pocket, opened my wallet, and gave him a can of Spam.
You keep Spam in your wallet?
Oh, sure. It doesn't need refrigeration.
Well, keep on with this wallet. Another joke like that, and this program will fold up.
Well, anyway, after the parade...
That's the chaser.
Well, anyway, after the parade, Artie Shaw took me home, and we were sitting in the living room, and I said, Artie?
Artie Shaw took you home?
Yes, and I said, Artie?
Didn't I tell you to break up this romance?
Yes, and I said, Artie?
Oh, stop with that, Artie. Artie, were you out with Gracie again last night?
Sure, it was on the 31st of August.
Oh, fine. Gracie, try to get this through that silly head of yours. You've got to split this thing up. Business and romance don't mix.
Well, I guess you're right, George. You just can't mix business with romance.
Well, it's about time you realized it.
So, we'll take the romance and give you the business. Hello.
Well, I give
It
up.
was on the 31st of August in the middle of July.
Is that the right key?
The afternoon was wet and the morning it was dry.
You might as well finish it.
I met a fair young lady sitting under an old oak tree.
Pretty.
And divil a word I said to her, and the same she said to me.
Well, I didn't know you could sing God, Gracie! I didn't know you could dance. I certainly was.
Well, George, it looks like you and Gracie are washed up for good. Brother, ever since she and Artie started to say, plow, I knew you were a dead duck.
Yeah, Jimmy, I better break that romance up. It's lasted longer than the snow on the streets in New York. And I know how to break it up. I'll use system number 3.
System number 3, what's that?
The old sympathy gag. It's bound to work with Gracie. Watch. Gracie.
Well, just a minute. Oh, that was wonderful, Artie. But the next time you hug me, I wish you'd take the clarinet out of your mouth. What is it, George?
Gracie, I've got something to say to you, and please try to understand. I want you to know it's not because I'm jealous. We've been together for years, and you just can't tear down everything that we've built up in just one day.
Oh, well, how long will it take?
Gracie, remember the first time I met you?
Mm-hmm.
We were just kids then.
That's right.
You'll have to admit I wasn't selfish. If I had anything, didn't you always get it?
Yeah, until I was vaccinated.
Remember when I took you to the ice cream parlor and we had a strawberry soda?
Mm-hmm.
You may not believe it, but that day I fell in love.
Really?
It felt so silly, I couldn't look at the soda clerk. It was love at first sight.
Oh, I don't blame you, Judge. He was very cute soda clerk.
No. I mean, I fell in love with you, Gracie.
Oh, so that's why you paid for my soda.
And, Gracie, that childhood romance ripened into, well, it isn't just friendship. It isn't just a passing fancy. It isn't just a partnership. Do you know what it is?
Oh, does it hang from the ceiling and whistle?
Does it hang from the season and whistle?
No, ceiling.
Gracie, boys, a little soft music. Maybe that'll help. Thanks, fellas. Gracie, remember that little tea room on 6th Avenue that we used to go to?
The one where they have the candlelight and the gypsy music?
Yeah, that's the place.
Oh, it makes my heart beat faster when I think of it.
Oh, I see. You still remember it.
Remember it. I was there last night with Artie. Hello.
Hello. All right, boys, stop it. I've had enough. Gracie, don't you understand? I've been talking to you until I'm blue in the face.
Oh, please, Judge Green. It's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going outside. I've got another system.
I'll go with you, George. I want to get you some tonic.
Tonic? Why?
To fix up your system.
Oh, poor George. I hope he doesn't jump off the Empire State Building.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awful? He hasn't got a coat and he might catch cold.
Yeah.
Senor Shaw, would you like some advice?
What kind of advice?
Well, if I were in your place, and if you take my advice, I will be. Why don't you and Miss Allen elope?
But, Senor Leah, if I elope with Artie, who'll take care of the band?
Let them get their own girls.
There, Artie, I think Senor Lee's got a cute idea. Let's elope just this once, huh? Well, look, we'll elope from the El Morocco tonight. It's just the place. It's on the ground floor, so we won't need a ladder.
El Morocco. Why not the Store Club?
Store Club? Well, Artie, maybe in a year.
Hey, listen, everybody, this will kill you.
What?
I just overheard George call up a theatrical agency, and he asked them to send over an actress to pretend she's George's girlfriend.
Well, why?
To make love to George and make Gracie jealous.
Well, say, that's a swell idea. And I'll bet she'll get jealous, too. She's probably a very jealous type if it's the same Gracie Allen. Oh, pardon me, it's me.
Listen, Jimmy, I know what we can do. Let's double-cross George and cancel the girl on him.
Double-cross George?
Yep, and I can get a girl to take her place.
Oh, gee, that would be a swell surprise for George.
Hey, look, wait a minute. Oh, I've got just the girl. Wallington, go out and call Stillman's Jim.
Stillman's Jim?
Yeah. This dame happens to be a lady wrestler.
A lady wrestler?
Yeah, just ask for Grappling Gertie.
Okay.
A lady wrestler? I've never seen a lady wrestler. Oh, I hope he falls for her. You know, I know once in Cleveland...
What are you two talking about?
Nothing's on the 31st of August in the middle of July. The afternoon was wet and the morning it was dry.
I talked to a fair young lady just now on the telephone.
And she's coming here from Stillman's Gym, and she will break your balls.
Sweet Chariot, played by Artie Shaw, the 52nd Street Romeo, who's going to be surprised when he gets a kick in the balcony. And by the way, Artie,
Hey, everything's okay, Artie. I made the switch.
Switch? What switch?
The thing that was now is a switch, you know. You made it. You thought it was real, huh? It is, then. Jimmy, take it off and wait for the judge.
Oh, quiet. Hello. It's for you, Jimmy.
Oh, gee, I hope it is. Hello? Who's this? Oh, Artie, don't worry. It's okay. Yes, this is Jimmy Wallington speaking. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm very sorry I can't be there. No. No, well, you see, I've got a date with a plate. Yes, that's right. Sorry. Goodbye.
Jimmy, did I hear you say you got a date with a plate?
That's right, George. You see, there's a very tired dinner plate.
Oh, a plate that goes out and stays out late. I see what you mean.
Yes, that's it. In fact, there are thousands of dinner plates all over the country, and they're very tired of the same thing for dinner. Very tired. So here's a suggestion I'm going to make when I date the plate. A suggestion that not only makes the plates on your table happy, but a meal that makes the family say, this is a swell dinner. All you do is open a can of Spam. You're sure of success because Spam is tender, taste-tempting meat with a delicious flavor. Then put the Spam in a shallow baking dish, slip it into the oven, and bake for a few minutes according to the easy recipe on the label. Plan a meal around baked Spam, and you'll take to the table a main course distinctive in meaty flavor and filled with lip-smacking satisfaction. Give your family baked Spam tomorrow. The easiest to get, best-to-eat dinner you've had in a long time. Originated and made only by Hormel, Spam is a perfect combination of juicy pork shoulder and tender ham. Delicious meat with extra goodness. To be sure of a meal that makes a hit, remember to insist on Spam, S-P-A-M, when you shop tomorrow.
Slice it, dice it, fry it, bake it, cold or hot, Spam hits the spot.
Oh, thanks, Artie. And Artie, can you picture us a few years from now, a little place in the country?
Yeah, vine-covered cottage.
A little mortgage covering the vine.
That's right. And you're in the living room eating a box of chocolate?
Yes, while you're in the kitchen standing over a hot clarinet.
Well, you know, I agree with you two. There's nothing like love. And I'm the one who knows.
Well, George, now don't tell me you're in love.
It was on the 31st of August in the middle of July.
George, how long have you known this girl?
Well, we went to school together. Where'd you meet her? She's like a piece of Dresden china. As a matter of fact, she was so fragile that we boys used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Oh.
Boy, I bet she's beautiful, huh, George?
Oh, yes, and what a voice.
Oh, probably like Nelson Eddy.
Nelson Eddy?
Well, maybe not exactly like Nelson Eddy. Maybe more like a half Nelson Eddy.
A half Nelson Eddy? Listen, what's going on here?
Senor Burns, I have a little information. I hate to be a rat, but Mickey Mouse is doing bad.
Senor, what's this information?
Are you asking me as just the guitar player?
Yes.
I know nothing. But now ask me as the new leader of the band.
I think I see what you mean.
And throw in a little cash.
All right, you're the new leader of the band, and I'll give you $5. What do you know?
Who'll make it 6?
I will.
I know nothing.
You know nothing, huh? Well, you're all jealous.
You know, George, I know just how you feel when you meet an old flame. Well, I just happened to meet today. As a matter of fact, this girl is just as dainty and fragile as your Twinkle Toes.
Dresden china?
Dresden china? Suppose she was Dresden slacks. What difference does it make what she's Dresden? Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. I said the wrong thing.
Well, you see, George, my girl is a little Spanish girl.
Spanish girl? Spanish.
Well, I did that for the sponsor.
Oh, spam instead of spam.
And, George, you know, when she looked at me today, she said, hello, tall, dark, and ham meat.
Ham meat?
I did that for the sponsor.
Oh, I see, Jimmy.
You know, before I left, I kissed her for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, huh?
That I did for myself.
Oh. Boy, what a kisser.
Yeah, he certainly has.
Oh, quiet. Well, here she is. Now you'll see something. Come in.
George. Twinkle Toes is here.
Twinkle Toes? Say, you've changed. Don't you remember me? I'm George Burns.
Hello, George.
Oh, my. What a beautiful voice. What a wonderful ring. But then again, it should be. She's in it half the time.
Twinkle Toes, I'm certainly glad to see you.
I'm sorry I'm late, George. I was a little tied up.
Well, Twinkle Toes, it's like old times, isn't it? When you left home, did you tell your mother who you were going to meet tonight?
Zabisco.
Zabisco?
Well, George, Zabisco. I read that in the night chart when I had my eyes examined this morning. It said Z-Y.
Well?
Z-Y, I need glasses?
Well, look, I've had enough of this silly stuff.
Well, Artie, George and Twinkle Toes want to be alone.
Well, we do. What do you think of that? Twinkle Toes?
What is it, lover?
Remember when we were kids?
Yeah.
Remember those romantic nights under the stars?
Yeah.
Remember when I carried your books to school?
Yeah.
Remember when she carried you?
Yeah.
You know, Twinkle Toes, when I first fell for you, it wasn't just your looks that attracted me. It wasn't just your personality. It wasn't just your mind. Do you know what it was?
Does it hang from the ceiling and whistle?
Oh, quiet.
Go ahead, tell me more about that love stuff, George.
Yeah, go ahead and tell her, Lenny. Oh, quiet. Gracie, will you take Artie away from here?
Well, Artie, George is right. Nobody should interfere with lovers. Lovers should be left alone. It's very rude to interfere. George, let me tell you how to do it. Now, Twinkle Toes, you stand over here, and George, you stand over there.
Okay, who's the referee?
Referee? Wait a minute. Is this a love match or a wrestling match?
There's a difference?
What's going on here?
Well, now we'll begin, and you don't have to worry, because I know plenty about love. You see, I used to be an usherette in the balcony at the Roxy.
I see it.
Now, Twinkle Toes, the first thing you do is grab George in your arms. Do you understand?
Well, to be frank, no.
Oh, I'm not going to like this.
Oh, how silly of me. Oh, I know how to get you together. Here we go.
Stay away. Stay away, please. Oh.
Isn't that cute? George's first crush.
Wait a minute. Are you the girl that was sent over here by that theatrical agency?
No, somebody phoned me at Stillman's gym. I'm Grappling Grady, known as the Glamorous Gorilla.
How did that girl get here? Gracie, how did this girl get here?
Well, she must have walked. The buses are on strike, you know. Isn't it awful, George? You know, I always say...
Oh, stop.
Stop. No, only when I get off.
Oh, quiet. Well, a fine trick for a bunch of grown-up people to play on their boss. What a thing to do. It isn't honorable. It isn't fair. It isn't cricket. It isn't sporting. Do you know what it is?
Does it hang from the ceiling?
Oh, quiet. Now Gracie will sing, Let's Get Away From It All. That was a fine
I'm so tired of the cell routine. Up to town on the 8:15. Back at night, off to bed, and then get up and start it all over again. Let's take a boat to Bermuda. Let's take a plane to St. Paul. Let's take a kayak to Quincy or Nyack. Let's get away from it all. Let's take a trip in a trailer. No need to come back at all. Let's take a powder to Boston for chowder. Let's get away from it all. We'll travel round from town to town. We'll visit every state. I'll repeat I love you, sweet, in all the 48. Let's go again to Niagara. This time we look at the fall. Let's leave our hut, dear, get out of a rut, dear. Let's get away from it all. What do you say we toddle away to Ipswich? What do you care about the fair? Where is Ipswich? It would be a novelty to switch to Ipswich scenery. Let's get away from it all. Maybe we'll pack and track it to Yakasaki, where they are free and happy and being wicky-wacky. Like the Yakasaki do, we could wicky-wacky too. Let's get away from it all. Love will get a brand new start on some island that we never saw. I want to be there with my heart, if Artie's name is Shaw. What do you know, we pack up and go to Scrum Scram. If you were slick, we better leave quick before old Scrum Scram's the way the map has changed. You say it may not be there Saturday. Babe, what do you say to it? Let's name the day for it and let's get away from it all.
Friends, Spam, S-P-A-M, a perfect blend of pork shoulder and tender ham, has become a word in the American language that means downright delicious food. Originated and made only by Hormel, Spam is now used by millions of families regularly. This tender meat has a flavor all its own and is ready to eat as soon as you open a handy can. Spam has dozens of uses. Serve it cold, bake Spam for dinner, fry slices for breakfast. Promise yourself you'll try one new way to serve Spam tomorrow. Use the easy recipes on the label. You'll soon discover serving Spam cold or hot is a quick, thrifty way to give your family grand-tasting meat. Tomorrow when you shop, ask your food dealer for S-P-A-M, Spam.
Well, thanks, Jimmy. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Good night. George, I'm going out. Don't I look pretty?
Oh, you look pretty. You kind of like flattery, huh?
Sure, I like all the Irish.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? O'Reilly, O'Flanagan, O'Toole,
Good night, folks. Good night.
Join us again next week, same time, same station, for another Burns and Allen show with Artie Shaw, his orchestra, and the Smoothers. Until then, this is Jimmy Wallington reminding you to remember that cold or hot, Spam hits the spot. Have you tried Hormel chili con carne? Even those who think they don't like chili do like chili con carne the way Hormel makes it, because it's different and everybody likes it. Double your money back if you don't like it. Try Hormel chili con carne tomorrow.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.